Hey, Jason Fladlin here. I am co-founder of Rapid Crush Inc. We are the publishers and the proudest constituents of the plan. We've been backing Dan in the plan as soon as he introduced it to us last year, and this is the last time we're making it available this year. Today, we're going to show you exactly what's going on in the crypto world, what makes sense, what might not make sense, and some options for you to consider as we move into the next year, 2023. And I have the man with the plan, Dan Hollings here, who I go 12 plus years back in my career. I've been working with this man. It's been a pleasure. He always has massive insight into the changes that are coming and preparing people. So I'm glad to be along his side. And that's what I'm doing here today. I'm going to support Dan. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hand it over to Dan. He's going to show you everything today. We're going to put it all cards on the table. And then at the end, you can decide what path you want to take. Dan Hollings, my friend, my crypto mentor, it's all yours.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate it. And thanks to each of you for spending a little time with me today. Settle in. I'm the kind of guy that likes to just tell you the story, show you the inner workings of things, and just talk to you frankly about something. I mean, this is a serious, matter that we're talking about. It has to do with your money, your future. And so therefore, I'm not here to bamboozle you or even try to, pitch on anything really. We've been doing this now for a couple of years, as Jason mentioned. I've been doing it for, 5 or 6 years. And it's something that works. And I'm going to show you how it works. And possibly you may want to join us. We have a big family, a big community. We have a lot of fun. And we're making money off what we call the wiggle. And we'll talk about that. But I want to ask you a question before I jump into things. I want you to think back when you were younger. Do you remember when your parents said you were going to get a bicycle? Do you remember that? I know I do. It's funny because I've just recently, I think the reason I'm thinking about this is I just recently, purchased a Stromer, which is an e-bike. I've been thinking bikes a lot. But I started thinking back when my parents first told me I was going to get a bicycle. Now, let me ask you a question. I'm sure you were excited back then and you couldn't wait to learn how to ride this bicycle, right? Nothing was going to stop you. I mean, you're going to get out there and, ride with the kids and the friends and up and down the driveway and around the neighborhood. Really exciting things. But let me ask you this. Before you made the decision to learn how to bicycle, were you checking the headline news to find out how many people last month crashed on their bicycle? Or how many people bought a bad bicycle and it didn't work out and they had to, save up and buy another one? I mean, were you checking the headlines and doing all that kind of stuff? No. And quite honestly, do you think your parents were? I'm kind of answering the question for you. The answer is no. It's like we don't really care about that. In other words, the vehicle that's going to help us to get where we want to go, the vehicle that's going to help us, be happy and enjoy life and do some, fun things, is what it is. And if we just learn how to pedal this thing, how to steer this thing, and how to keep our balance, all's well. Tough luck on the guy a year ago that crossed the street, and hit a pothole. I mean, that's not important. Well, we're talking about crypto now. We're talking about Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about Ethereum and whatever. And what I have found is that a lot of people, not so much the people that join our community, but a lot of people, they spend their time looking at the headline news and talking to wackos here and there about what's going on in the crypto market, as if though what happened last month or what happened last year has anything to do with what is happening now and what can happen to you if you're taught how to ride this bicycle, this crypto bicycle, the right way up front from the beginning. I know this to be true because when I first tried to pedal the crypto bicycle, I just went to YouTube. Nothing wrong with YouTube, and there's some smart people there. But I just went there and I watched this video and that video, and I'd read an article here and there. And yeah, I was looking at the news and I was doing all the things that the normal people do. You're probably in that boat. That's kind of the way people do it. And boy, did they ever lead me off a cliff. Because I started investing money in crypto back in 2017, and the price went up, and it just kept going up, and I just thought I was the best bicycle rider, the best crypto trader in the world. And then things changed because I found out that it doesn't just always go one direction, it goes the other direction. and I lost a lot of money. The bottom line is this, is that I realized, and I'm going to try to keep you from having this realization, I realized that if you don't have a plan, you're likely going to go off a cliff. 95% of the people that invest in crypto lose money. In fact, they lose all of their money, many of them. And that's not a good plan. So after I tried that routine, I decided that I would figure out a plan. I'd stick to the plan and see if that could help me to build the kind of wealth that I truly was after. Now, I'm going to introduce you to a lot of people today. In fact, let me share my screen here. I always hide the share button. Here it is. And we're going to be talking about very specifically the plan. And the plan is something that is as robust of a training program, a support community, and what it says, a plan, as you're going to find in this space. In fact, we've been so successful at this, we can literally claim that we are the #1 crypto training program in the world. Now, we're not teaching people how to trade. We're not teaching people how to gamble. We're not teaching people to read charts and, just lock yourself to a computer monitor, because that's something I didn't want. And certainly I wasn't going to be able to plan in order to achieve that goal. My goal was to have a way to have passive income coming in that required minimal maintenance. There wasn't a large learning curve, and that I could sit back and enjoy life. I mean, I'm not a young guy anymore, and this thing ended up being so good that initially I tried my best to keep it a secret, but it didn't work out. I'll tell you that story. Then I'm going to actually show you my early experience doing exactly what you can do. I'll show you the actual screenshots of my results in my first couple of years. Then I'm going to show you the very simple formula where we're making money off of what we call the wiggle in the market. We don't really care so much if the market goes up or if the market goes down. In fact, most of the time the market goes sideways. Most people in crypto, especially traders, hate it because it's hard to make money when the market's just kind of going sideways. It has been pretty much going sideways for a good while now. But I'm going to show you how this formula works. I'm also going to show you how we're doing it with automation, artificial intelligence. That's right. It's an automation or a bot that allows us to do this in a way that is safe. It's as safe as anything you're going to find in crypto. I mean, there's always risk in crypto, but this is safer, and allows us to live life. I can sit on the back porch and I can play my guitar, okay? I can go out and spend time with my family. I can go on vacations. I can buy what I want. I can do the things that I want to do because of the plan. And we have members now in 120 countries, and many of them would tell you the same thing. After that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you, we keep live running automations going all the time, okay? Usually 20 or more. And I'm going to actually show those. Now, these are what we call our live demo bots that give you a taste of what it would be like. We are actually show you how you could set these things up as well. It's kind of like you're going to learn to ride the bicycle with training wheels on, so that it's guaranteed that you're not going to crash. It would be guaranteed that you're not going to lose any money. Can you believe that? That's the way we teach you. Then after you learn with the training wheels on, then you can take them off. If you wish to put some of your real money in, you will know what you're doing. You will have the experience from doing it with training wheels, and you'll feel much safer, and you'll have the support that you need, okay? You'll be making wiggle just like the rest of us. So that's what the plan is. And then at the end, what we will do is we'll show you how you can become a part of our community, how you can start earning wiggle, and we'll open it up to questions. So that's what we're going to do today. It's going to take a little time. So grab some coffee, tea, beer, wine, whatever, and sit back and enjoy. And if you have questions, we have a full team here. I'm going to introduce to them. And I'd recommend you hold your questions to the end if you can, but you do what is most comfortable for you. So here I am. I am the creator and founder of this. One of the craziest quotes I think I ever heard, this is back before I was doing the plan, was by Malcolm Forbes. You know him, the guy who created Forbes magazine. The quote said, "The hardest work of all is doing nothing." And guess what? I'm going to teach you how to do a lot of nothing. Now, when I read this quote, I don't think Malcolm Forbes was into crypto back at the time, but what he had learned something that was really important. And that is that you can automate, and he may have done it through people, but today we can do it through computers and automation. If you automate things, it ends up that you can do better than you could do if you were manually trying to do it, and you can end up having time to enjoy life. So I'm going to talk a lot about doing nothing, because you do have to get good at doing a lot of that. It's funny, I've got a book here. In fact, I think, let me see here. Yeah, there it is. I got a book here. And this is my to-do list. And it's like, this is half joke and half real, but I get up in the morning and I check this and it's blank. So what do I do? When it comes to this, crypto, nothing. I may pop over to my monitor and just look real quick. But other than that, I'm off to the races doing something called living. All right. Later, after lunch, I'll check this to see what I'm supposed to do next, and it'll say nothing. And then before I go to bed, I'll check it one more time. That's it, folks. I'm doing nothing. Okay. You can get one of these, or to tell you the truth, since you're doing nothing, you really don't even need one. Now, I'm going to tell you a lot of stuff today, and I want you to understand that there are some challenges with crypto. So there's a disclaimer here, and I'm not just going to fly through it because I want this to sink in. All right. Crypto is risky, guys. Crypto is speculative. You can lose money in crypto. In fact, you probably will lose money in crypto. The trick in crypto is to learn how to make more money when you win and lose less when you do lose. So you're going to win and you're going to lose. And it's this mixture as you go along. All right. That's reality. So I want you to understand that you should not get involved in crypto with any money that you can't afford to just lose it all. I'm serious. Okay. You may need $1,500 or, somewhere north of that in order to get going properly. But if you were to lose all of that, I don't want you to be standing on the corner with a cardboard sign, okay, trying to collect money to live life, okay? This is something that can change your life. And I'll show you how I'm doing it and how others are doing it. But just be aware that this is risky. It is something that you should not do unless you can afford to lose that money. Now, when I talk about doing nothing, I'm not talking about get rich quick, make money while you sleep, even though I do. I'm talking about the fact that there are computer systems and automations and bots that do a lot of the work for us. I will show you the formulas for setting these up. It takes about 15 minutes to do it, and then you do nothing. In fact, the less you do, the better, because when you start meddling with it, it often doesn't work as well if you just let it do its thing. So that's what I mean when I talk about do nothing. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm none of that. I'm just a guy like you. I've been fiddling with this for a while. I broke the code in crypto. I figured out how you can make money minute after minute after minute. And I'm not trading in the sense that everybody thinks that you have to do it. I do hodling, but I do hodling in a special way. And hodl just means buy and hold for a while. I'm doing things different because the way everybody else is doing it was losing money. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the statistic that tells us that 95% of money that go into crypto, 95% of people that go into crypto lose their money. That's a fact. Okay. We want to be part of the 5%. But also, I'm going to just shock you because we're not making tons of money all at one time. We're making nickels and dimes and quarters. We're wiggling out small amounts of money day in and day out. So if you're good with all that, then let's get on with this. I mentioned it earlier. We are now in 130 countries. Makes me feel good. I mean, I honestly never thought that. I thought it was going to be me and my trading partner, Tony. I'm going to introduce you to Tony right now. Tony was a good friend of mine who I had worked with for a number of years. This is Tony with his wife, Priya. And Tony called me up one day and he said, Dan, you got to get into crypto, buy some Bitcoin. And, we've been doing, some Amazon stuff and some internet stuff and, typical. And he said, but you got to buy some crypto. I had no interest. I had tried to trade earlier in my life and, it's kind of interesting, but I wasn't good at it. And I just moved on from that. And when he started talking about Bitcoin, I thought, that's trading. I'm not interested. He kept pestering the heck out of me. By the way, Tony's with us right now. In fact, all the people I'm about to introduce you, they're with us right now. They're going to be the people. They're going to be helping you proactively, interactively to do what we're talking about. You're joining a family here if you want to do this. Tony pestered me. I finally bought some crypto back in 2017. And at that time, it was around $8,000 if I remember right. And I bought some, and then I figured that shut him up. But then he started calling me and saying, well, how's it doing? And I would always have to look. I'd check and I go, wow, it's worth more today, Tony. He said, yeah, it did great. And I'm going, yeah. And it kept going up and it kept going up. And I'm thinking, well, gosh, this is a no-brainer. You just put your money in and you wait a little while and it's worth more. I mean, who couldn't do well in that? But that was the problem. I started fooling myself. I made myself think that I was this great trader or this great investor, only to find out that come Christmas, as we roll into 2018 and the beginning of that year, the market started going the other way, and we were headed into what is now known as crypto winter. That was the crypto winter of 2018. And, thinking back, it was nothing. But during the time I was going through it, it was just hell. And I lost money and lost money and lost money. I lost everything. Everything I had put into crypto, I lost it. I was embarrassed because I had been the guy who had been teaching people online how to make money, right? Doing online businesses, Amazons, all kinds of stuff. But here I was losing money. I wouldn't be able to teach anybody, how to do this, because who wants to learn how to lose money? All right. I think a lot of us are already good at that, right? So I kind of hid in the closet. I told everybody I was getting out of crypto, but secretively, I kept at it. I just felt I could crack the code. And really, the first insight that I had was this. If I would stop being afraid of the volatility, we all know crypto goes up and it goes down and there's crashes and there's parabolic bull runs and it's all over the place. And the news is touting how great it is. And then the teenager makes $1 billion. And then the next day, everybody's running for the hills. It's crashing down. It's just like this all day. And I'm thinking, God, that's craziness. Who wants to get on that roller coaster? Then it dawned on me. I zoomed in to the minute by minute level of trading these various tokens and cryptocurrencies that were out there. And I realized that while it is volatile on the big scale, it's also volatile on the small scales, kind of like looking at it under a microscope. Minute by minute by minute, crypto is wiggling, and they're little tiny wiggles, but they're wiggling. And I said, wow, what if you could just trade the wiggle? Forget all the up and down, just trade the wiggle, minute after minute after minute. And so I started looking for software that would do that. I found it. I tested probably 100 different, it wasn't 100, but it seemed like it, all these different systems. And finally, I came upon what I will share with you today. All right. It was a way to make money off of this microscopic wiggle. The money started coming in, but it wasn't a lot. It was like a nickel here, and a dime there, and a quarter here. Every once in a while, I get 50 cents. I mean, that was it. I said, Tony, I don't know if this will add up, but if we were to do this enough, maybe it would. And I'm going to show you in just a second. And so lo and behold, that is what happened. It started working. It was like a virtual vending machine. The money was coming in, listen, you don't always make money all the time with every single coin, but by and large, we were making money minute after minute after minute. And I was a happy camper. And I said, Tony, look, it's just you and me. We're the only two that know of how to do this. Let's not tell anybody. I mean, why? I'm a little bit older. I was thinking about retirement. And I said, this is good enough for me. I can really enjoy life off of this, and I don't have to, do anything. I could do nothing. That was it until Elaine called me up one day. Now, Elaine was the lady who had introduced me to Tony years earlier, a good friend of mine, and she's on with us today. As I said, everybody you're going to meet here is on today. They will be people helping you. And Elaine, she said, Dan, I'm getting into crypto and I'm going to, invest in Bitcoin and do this and do that. And I said, Elaine, don't do it. You're going to lose everything. Everybody loses in crypto. And she said, I don't care. The blockchain is the future. And I got to be there. Okay. And I said, well, look, if you're going to do it, then why don't you pop on a call with me and I'll show you what Tony and I have been doing and I'll get you set up. And I was just trying to help her out. Okay. So we got on the phone. I showed her what we were doing. She got all set up. And, within minutes, she's making money off the wiggle. The nickels and dimes and quarters start coming in. And she's going, wow, this is really cool. Okay. And she started wiggling then. This is, a few years ago. She's still wiggling now, right? And she's helping our community and we'll help you to do the same. So that was Elaine. And then Elaine said, why don't we tell Daniel? Daniel was a friend of hers, what we're doing. And I said, well, all right. And so Daniel got on. I showed him what we were doing. We got him set up and he starts making money off of the wiggle within a few minutes. And he brought in his son, Anthony. Anthony's with us today. He's part of our Mentor Me program. I'll mention a little bit about that later. Anthony came on board and he starts making money off of the wiggle. Then I shared it with Ian. Ian's with us today as well. He's my chief operations officer. He's over in Israel. He's wiggling over there as well. I showed him what we're doing. My marketing guy, Mikey, down in Florida, who luckily missed the hurricane. Good for that. But Mikey starts making money off of the wiggle. And then my PR lady up in Canada, Ashley, I show her and she starts making money off of the wiggle. And then they all kind of teamed up, ganged up, is what I should say, with Elaine leading the way. And she said, Dan, you got to share this with the world. You remember now, this is back during, the pandemic was just starting back then. Times were rough. People were out of work. It was crazy. I mean, it's better. Well, maybe better now. I don't know. But it was really bad then. And she said, you got to show this to people. People are starving. People around the world need money and they're at home and this. And I'm going, okay, I tell you what. And I was trying to get out of it. If you can convince Jason and Will to help me to get the word out, then I'll do it. And I knew good and well that Jason and Will wouldn't do it because they didn't like crypto. So I said, you get them interested and then I will. So she arranged a call. They got on the phone with me and I started showing them what I was doing. And initially I could tell from their body language that they were hoping the call would end before it would start. But within a few minutes, they started sitting up. They were looking. They said, well, my word, Dan, this is something. We decided that we would test it with a small group, and we mailed out to a small group of people on Jason and Will's list. And we decided that I would work with them personally, maybe spend a couple of hours with them, show them what I was doing, and they each paid $10,000 to learn this. I didn't think anybody'd sign up, right? Costs too much, and who wants to do crypto and make nickels and dimes and quarters? But lo and behold, we had so many people put forth $10,000 that we had a waiting list so long I could not possibly get through it all. And every day I was spending 6 to 8 hours working with people for a couple of months. And we, finally we worked through like an initial group. It was about 20 people that went through or so, something like that. Most of those people, in fact, I think all of them are still with us today. Some of them are actually here on this call today, and they too are here to help you, the new person, if you want to start. So there we were. We had to figure out a way to serve the larger community, and that's really why we're here today. I couldn't teach one-on-one like that. I didn't have enough hours in the day, so we decided we would create a course. That's what I did, and we did the first beta course, and then we did another beta course and another beta course. I kept improving it, and as we go along, okay, not so much the technique, just trying to simplify it so that just the average Joe, Jane Doe could do this, do it feeling safe, feeling that it's something that could help them reach their financial goals. And that's why we're here, is to show you, what we have. In fact, this is me with my rescue dog, Skippy. You'll see him in some of our trainings. He was with me all along the way. He has the uncanny ability to be able to predict the market, but unfortunately, he can't talk. So he just sits there with his big eyes and watches the charts go up and down with me. He's my second trading partner next to Tony. The only thing missing from the plan is you. So let's see if we can change that, okay? We're all wiggling our way to wealth. I know it's crazy, it sounds funny, but that's what we're doing. Now, to show you how this kind of adds up, I'm gonna go back to a period in time. It was a couple of years ago. The dates are there, you'll see it. And show you about a year and a half or so of my actual results. And the reason I chose this period of time is because in looking at the market, the period of time I'm going to show you is as similar to where we're at today as I could possibly find. In other words, since we've started teaching people how to do this, the market has been, for the most part, in a decline. This does work in up markets, down markets, and especially well in sideways markets. And the market has declined quite a bit, and it's down now at a historical low, this point where the odds of it going any lower are not very high. And even if it did, because of the way we do this, we kind of have our bottoms covered. And so what I'm going to show you here is indicative of what I did and what I think is a similar market. Now, understand that though these are my results, it doesn't mean that they would be your results, okay? And that I'll underscore. That's always the case when I show you numbers on the screen. We are using a new type of formula now as well called the bottom feeder bot. I wasn't using that back when I showed you these numbers, and we're seeing results which, in my opinion, are actually even better. Okay, we change our formula based on the market, and so you guys get the benefit of that. We'll talk more about that later. So let's take a look at this. Back in August, there were 31 days in that month. Okay, as always, right? Nothing new there. This is in 2020. And I made $94,649. Now let's talk about money in the crypto world, because I'm sure you know people that have said, hey, I bought some crypto back a few years ago and it's now worth, twice as much or 3 times as much, whatever. Okay. And you're thinking, wow, that's great. And then you want to go out to lunch and they can't pay for their lunch. And the reason is because their money is locked up in crypto. It's not spendable revenue. There's nothing wrong with that, but that wasn't what I was after. I was after cash flow, right? What's wrong with cash flow? I don't mind having money be worth something in the distant future, but I wanted cash flow now. The money I'm showing you here is free and clear money, what I call money in my pocket. That $96,649 was the spendable money that went into my exchange. Thus, it was mine to spend in my pocket back in August of 2020. That was wiggling out of the formula, and yet the formula just keeps working, okay? Like a vending machine. The next month, spendable money, I made $100,000, a little more, $100,863 in September. I'm gonna go kind of fast here. I wanna show you how I pulled this data. If you go into the software, you'll be using the same software. There's a widget to go into the database and you can pull the information for any single month. Like October, back in 2020, I made $6,112, okay? For the next month, you just punch in the dates, and you can see that for November, I made $30,547. This is cash in my pocket from nickels, dimes, and quarters. It adds up, right? For the next month, what do we have? December, I made $70,970 in December. And then for the next month, we're coming into the new year. COVID is soon to be our good friend. You can see in January, I made $41,283. We go to the next month, it's February. I only have 28 days, but what do I make? $161,017 in free and clear cash that I could spend or invest however I wish, and yet it's still going on. As we look into the next month, we have March. I do $20,958. As we go into April, no April Fools, I made $24,444 for that month. Again, nickels, dimes, and quarters. It adds up. All right. That's as far as I went with this little recording. But let me show you some more screenshots because I kept doing it. All right. I had been doing it before these screenshots and I'm doing it now. But this certainly gives you a feel. For May, this is 2021, I did $49,106. For the next month, I did $11,029. In July, I did $34,693. And the next month, I did $20,425. And in the next month, September, I did $81,902. And the next month, I did October, I did $37,994. And we'll carry it out through the rest of the year here. In November, I did $44,330. And then in December, I did $26,108. It adds up. That's the bottom line. Now, these are screenshots. You can believe them or not. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to show you real bots in a moment to show you what it's like today. But that is enough of an example, I think, for you to get a feel that not only did I crack the code, did I figure something out here, but this all was occurring while I was on my back porch, playing my guitar, enjoying life, because I basically was doing nothing. Hard to believe. There's probably a little voice in the back of your head right now. Maybe it's your mother, your grandmother, or somebody. And they're saying, hey, I don't know what this guy's trying to feed you, but there's a catch. There is a catch. First thing is you've got to have the knowledge. You have to have the proper automation. You need to have support, a network that will help you with little things here and there along the way. And also, You have to curb the greed and not believe the craziness that you hear out there, both the FUD, which is fear, uncertainty, and doubt that you hear from negative news and friends and all of that, but also all of the pie in the sky, incredible money that you can make from some of the videos that you see online talking about how you trade in crypto. This is money that you will make most likely slowly over time. And if you give yourself a year or two, it will add up. These numbers weren't what I was making day one. When I first turned on these automations, in fact, I lost money with them too. I had to figure out how to work the system. I had to figure out what is the formula. There are people that hear me talk. They kind of Google and try to figure out the software. Then they go out and they sign up for the software and they think, I don't need Dan's training. I'll just turn software on, invest my money, and I'm going to make money off the wiggle. And you know what? It's foolhardy. It's like thinking you're going to be a great writer just because you get Microsoft Word. Yeah, that's what Stephen King uses, but it doesn't mean that just because you use the same software, you're going to be a best-selling writer. So you're not going to make a ton of money if you just come in and get the software. You need all of the things that we've put together here for the plan. So it goes on. If you were to add all of this up during that period of time, about a year and a half, I made $856,433. But it doesn't stop there because the plan isn't just these automations. Don't think that. The plan is robust. It is a complete a strategy, including diversity and safety, everything that's important for you to move into the future, which is the blockchain, and to start to understand the most likely way that our finances will be dealt with in the future, that blockchain future of crypto, which I feel is forthcoming. Okay, now I took that money and I put it into a special type of hodling, and I increased it up to almost $1.5 million there. I'll show you how I did that as well. This is a complete strategy, okay? Extremely robust. I said it earlier, but I feature safety. I talk about diversity. I show you my strategies. I teach you how to do hodling on steroids, but more important than anything is I'm going to prepare you for an inevitable future. You cannot sit there today and tell me that you're going to stay in the old vinyl record world of finance, because the world is moving on. More things are on the blockchain now already than you probably realize. Medicine, art, music, sports and ticketing, obviously financing, everything is going to the blockchain. Visa, MasterCard, when you go and use that now, you remember those old magnetic strips they used to have? It's all digital now and it's being put into a ledger. It's basically blockchain technology or crypto that is underneath that. We are already in a crypto world. You're going to live in a blockchain crypto world. The quicker you learn this stuff, the better, because of being there sooner than the masses, you'll be able to benefit from that. So I can help you to do that and do it safe. You don't want to be a part of the 95%. What you don't want to be is the man or the woman with no plan. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin right now and just the whole marketplace, okay? Because I want you to know that not only does what we're doing make money in up markets, down markets, and side markets, but we have like the wind behind us, so to speak. And the reason is because of cycles that occur in the crypto space. A lot of people don't realize it, but Bitcoin is it's ubiquitous. It is autonomous. It's not controlled by any government or any company. It is just code, and that's what's so beautiful about it. All right, it gives you, all of us, a fair shot at having a financial investment future. Okay, that we have some type of control over, rather than having to be dependent upon some third parties or governments. Now, the best predictive model that there has ever been for Bitcoin is the stock to flow predictive model. And I'm not going to get technical here, so don't worry about it. But this brown line that you see right here, that brown line is the predictive model. Now, for a decade, this particular model has predicted the general path of Bitcoin. And if it continues to hold true, as many suspect it will, then it will help us to understand how much Bitcoin will be worth in the future. And you may be thinking, well, Dan, yeah, but what if I want to invest in Ethereum or some other coin? Well, the whole market kind of follows along on the coattail of Bitcoin. So if this is going on with Bitcoin, then you rest assured that much of the rest of the market is going to be following a similar pattern. Now, you'll notice in this predictive model ever so often, there's an increase in the value, and it almost seems like it's contrived, as if though it's built into the system. It just goes up like every 4 years. I mean, how can you have something like that? Well, guess what? Built within the code of Bitcoin is something called the Bitcoin halving. Now, the Bitcoin halving occurs about every 4 years. And what happens is right around the time that the halving occurs, at least in the past, there has always been a parabolic bull run associated with that halving. And that's because the halving changes the code in such a way to reduce the number of Bitcoin in circulation and increases the demand for Bitcoin, thereby accelerating or increasing the likelihood that there will be a bull run. So if you have your ducks in a row, and you're ready for the next Bitcoin halving, which is coming up in a little less than 2 years or so, hey, bingo. How do I know? I was there before the last one. In fact, I came in a little late. That was when Tony called and said, hey, you should get in. I literally got in right in the middle of the parabolic bull run that had been generated around the last Bitcoin halving. So I'm going to help you to prepare for this time so that you've got your ducks in a row. You're going to make wiggle revenue as we go along, but you're also going to be ready for this special event. Now, let's take a look at the history of this so you can see how accurate it was, because that brown line you see there is just the indicator. Back in May of 2010, that was when Bitcoin, right around that time was when Bitcoin first was introduced to the world. All right. And can you imagine this, going in to buy some pizza? And the very first transaction that ever occurred was someone bought pizza, 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin. Interesting, right? Hey, Siri, how much is 10,000 Bitcoin worth today?
10,000 Bitcoins is $190,345,120.
Okay, that is $190 million for 2 pizzas. $190 million. That's how much that Bitcoin would be worth today if they hadn't spent it on pizza. Okay? Now, that's a fun factoid, but let's look at what Bitcoin actually did. You can see that from its beginning, it started going up, and it went from basically nothing all the way up to around $1,000. It was kind of following along this stock to flow indicator chart. Okay, then what happened? We had another Bitcoin halving, and you can see once again, it kind of followed the arrow and it went up. And you can see what's happening is it's peaking like right after this point. It peaks and then it comes down. Okay, and then it has another Bitcoin halving, and then it peaks and it comes down. Let's keep going. All right, you can see here we had kind of an interesting situation. Here it did make it to the very point, but it didn't quite peak. Okay, and that's because during this period of time we had a lot of stuff happen, like a war, Russia. We had, a bunch of stuff happened. I won't even get into all of it, okay? And so there were some other factors going on that do influence crypto. And the thought is that this thing is still going to peak, or else we're just going to prepare for the next Bitcoin halving, which is what I'm doing. And in about a year and a half, 2 years, okay, we're going to be ready. Hopefully you're going to be with me, and we're going to ride this sucker up again, okay? So if you want to get rich, I can't guarantee it, but your odds are better right here, okay, as compared to any other way that I could think of, okay? Now, let's kind of dig down on this. That's what's important to you. Like I told you earlier, when you first were learning how to ride a bicycle, you didn't care about what happened to, some kid, 50 years ago who was riding a bicycle. You were only interested in learning how to do it yourself because it really didn't have anything. It's like that 10,000 Bitcoin pizza. Okay, it's funny, but it doesn't have any bearing on what you're doing. But it does kind of tell you that, wow, that type of increase could be there. This is what's important, the future, not the headlines and the news and all the stuff they talked about, crashes and everything last month and all that stuff. Okay, here's why you're here today. All right, so here's what you're going to do. if you had been smart, I'm not saying you're not, but if you had been around and been smart, I know I wasn't, I would have gotten on the bus back here before that Bitcoin halving, and I would have ridden it up. You can tell that right here is where smart money comes in. And then they ride it up, and that's when they cash out. Okay? So it happened again right here. Smart money came in, and then they rode the bus up. You could have done that here. You could have done it here. You could have done it here. You could have done it here. Okay? So what does this little area here look like to you? Does it look like maybe that's where the smart money comes in? Don't tell anybody. All right. That's part of the secret right there. Smart money's coming in right now. You can look and find the headlines. I used to have a little clip, but I think I removed it. Smart money's coming in here. Why? Because they know the halving. It's built into the code. Nobody can change it. There will be a halving here. And if the same thing happens again, no guarantee, but if it happens again, then you'll be able to ride the bus and you'll be right there. So you could be the smart money this time. You see, the Bitcoin halving occurs about every 4 years. We are a little bit past the midway point. Your timing couldn't be better. And during this period, if you have a plan and you do this smart, if you do this safe, you can be ready for this. That doesn't mean you're going to be broke until it happens. We're making money off the wiggle. You saw, you know what I did. Okay, that is a possibility. So this is the big picture. Now, let's get down into the weeds a little bit, okay? There are 3 questions, okay? Number 1 is, what did the smart money do then? They invested. What did the smart money do then? They invested. What will the smart money do here? They are already investing, me included. There's this other little chart, I'll be quick on this, called the Bitcoin rainbow chart. I like this, okay? Reminds me of the Wizard of Oz. But over the rainbow here, you can see that if the chart is in blue, meaning Bitcoin is down in the blue spectrum, which is where it is right now, this is classified as a fire sale. So what's wrong with starting in crypto or investing in Bitcoin or crypto during a fire sale when you know that in less than 2 years, there's going to be a Bitcoin halving, and that in the past, that always meant a parabolic bull run, and you'll be doing it with a plan, within a community, in a safe way. That's it, folks. Okay, that is it. Now, how do I make money off the wiggle? I'm going to tell you in a minute. Hang with me. But are you at the right place at the right time? Well, Bitcoin is more scarce than gold. There will always be more gold. We're going to be taking it off asteroids and pulling it out of the ocean and all that kind of stuff. But Bitcoin, it's fixed. There will never, ever be more than 21 million Bitcoin. It is the most scarce thing we have on this planet. Okay, Bitcoin has already created over 60,000 millionaires. Bitcoin has been the best performing asset as compared to everything, real estate, stocks, bonds, anything you can think of. It has beat it out by over 1,000, even though you're reading in the news or have read in the news that it crashed, it always crashes. Guess what? I found out. It's the crashes and the volatility and the up and down that causes the wiggle. So that's why I said earlier, I made friends with volatility, because the volatility, especially at the microscopic level, is what makes me my passive income. So when I see all this stuff, I think, great, go for it. You guys freak out, sell, and then go get euphoric and buy and just go back and forth. Everybody's doing that. Most people are losing, and I'm just making my wiggle and enjoying life. That's what I'm doing. So how does this work? You're probably going to laugh when I show this to you. You're going to say, wait a minute, that's just too darn simple, Dan. I mean, why hasn't anybody else figured that out? Well, I mean, there are other people that figured it out. It wasn't like I invented this, but I was able to master a formula so that it would work for me, Tony, my close friends, and other people that were part of the plan. Here's what we do. Imagine for a moment that you're a spider, all right? And if you wanted to catch a bug or some, wiggling fly or whatever, what would you do? If you were a spider, you would build a web, right? Smart, because you don't know where the bug or fly is going to be coming, through. So you just cast a web knowing that you'll catch it no matter what. That's what we're doing. That's what you're going to do. All right. Now, the web is called a grid, and this is set up by the automation, the software. It will exist on your exchange. Your money is always in your control. You're not giving it to me or anybody else. It's always 100% in your control at the exchange of your choice. Okay. And for those people that haven't used an exchange, it's kind of like a bank. Okay. But they are they keep your money safe there. And then that's what allows you to trade. Now, what the software does is it sets up this spider web, this grid, and it will have some red lines and it'll have some green lines. Now, there will be more lines than what you see here. There's only 8 here, but our grids in reality, they have like 100 or 150 lines or so. I mean, it's a lot of spider web going on there. That's because we want to catch it no matter what. But this will allow you to understand it. There's a top of the grid range and there's a bottom of the grid range. And the red lines that are in your grid are basically, those are open sell orders. It's basically telling your exchange that if price ever trips across one of your red lines, that it will sell a little bit of your crypto and make you a nickel or dime or a quarter. Okay. And if price trips across one of your green lines, then the software will automatically buy a little bit of crypto, maybe 25 bucks worth. Okay. And it'll hold it until it wiggles up a little bit and you sell it. So let's look at what happened. Here comes the fly. It's wiggling by, right? Only its price. And it will wiggle down and it'll hit one of your green lines and the automation will buy a little crypto for you. No big deal. You're on the back porch, right? Then price will wiggle up. It will trip across one of your red grid lines and the automation will automatically sell that crypto that you bought 1 minute earlier. And it'll make you a little money, maybe 25 cents, okay? Then it will wiggle more. It might wiggle down. It'll hit that green line again. It'll buy a little bit more. You see, this is all this is. But it's being done through automation. I don't care about the big wiggle stuff, crazy stuff. I'm making the money off of the little wiggle all day, every day. All right. If it wiggles on down further, it will buy a little bit more. It's using an approach called dollar cost averaging, which any financial advisor in the world would probably tell you, hey, that's a smart way to buy, because as price drops, you're getting it cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, so that when it starts to go up, you can sell it for higher and higher and higher. I mean, it's just common sense as well. Now, the software is smart enough to know that if it's gone down a little bit, it turns the green line into a red line so that it's ready to sell it for you when it wiggles back up. And lo and behold, it'll wiggle back up. It'll hit the red line. It'll sell it, and you'll make another 25 cents. I've explained the whole idea to you in about a minute, and you made 50 cents already. That's it. There's nothing more to it, okay? We do other things, and there's more to the plan, but when it comes to the wiggle, this is it. But you need to know the formula in order to do this. Now, some people are thinking, yeah, but this catch, Dan, these exchanges, they charge these outrageous exchange fees, and you'll end up losing all your money through, paying them. Well, hey, come on now. If it was that way, nobody would ever trade, okay? You do pay an exchange fee, but it's always just a fraction of your profit. And an example would be that I probably made 30 cents when I did the transaction. 5 cents went to the exchange to pay for the exchange fee, and I walk away with a quarter in my pocket. Nothing wrong with that. All of the numbers that I have shown you thus far, all of the numbers I'm showing you now and will show you in the future, here today, these are net numbers, okay? Exchange fees are already taken out. This is cash in your pocket or in your exchange. That's what we're talking about. This is what a real grid looks like. This spider has built a huge web, maybe 140 lines or so. Some of them are red, some of them are green, just like I showed you in the last chart. And all those dots you see there, looks like some kind of a serpent. Those are buy and sell transactions that have already occurred. There's probably 3,000 or 4,000 transactions that you're looking at here on the screen. Every time there's a red dot, I have sold a little bit and made a little money. Every time there's a green dot, means that a little has been purchased and ready to sell when it wiggles back up. And you're just constantly buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling. You ever heard the old saying, buy low, sell high? That's what this does. It buys a little low, sells a little high, a little low, a little high. It never tries to make you rich on one transaction. That's what everybody else is teaching. Nope. What this thing does is it just does the wiggle. When you see a drop like we see right here, see that big drop? That is such a drop. If I were to measure that, that might be a 30% drop in the market. That would be so significant that it would be headline news. People are jumping out of the window because they're losing money in crypto. Yeah, they are. But what am I doing? I'm catching the wiggle because it never just drops. It wiggles as it drops. Sometimes I make more money off of the wiggle as it goes down than the loss in value of the coin pair that I'm trading. Now, I know that sounds crazy. It doesn't happen every time, but it does. What really ends up happening is this, and I can say this as a fact. If you're using this approach and it does drop, you will always lose less than somebody that's using just the standard old buy, cross your fingers, pray it goes to the moon, and hope that you make a bunch of money. Okay, that doesn't work very often. Okay, and when it goes the wrong way, you just lose. Period. But in this, the wiggle helps to reduce any loss, or you just hang in there, you let the thing just keep going, and it starts to wiggle and wiggle and wiggle and wiggle. It's like we're not trying to predict the future. We're not trying to catch the market bottom. We're not trying to predict the next moonshot. We're just casting a web, and we're catching all the wiggle within a huge, monstrous range. This range right here, my God, folks, it could be like, 50%, 70%, 100% range that we're covering. And it's like Pac-Man. The thing's just going back and forth, and we're just letting it do its thing. We don't worry about the up and down so much. Okay. Now, oh, wait, I forgot to tell you about my favorite thing. Let me go back here. You got to see this. On the left is my bubblegum machine. You're probably wondering why I had that there. Well, I used to have 40 of these things. 40. Okay. This is a while back. And it's one of those spiral gumball machines. I had them all around town. I had them in restaurants and car washes and the theater and various things, okay? Hotels. And kids would come in, hey, Mom, give me a quarter. They put the quarter in, and bingo, I've got a quarter. They get the gum. I would come around every week or two, and I would put more gum in. I'd take my quarters out. It was a heck of a business, okay? In fact, the guy that used to go and get my quarters for me, I got tired of lifting those things. They're heavy. He's doing the plan. He's actually with us. This is decades ago. I mean, people kind of tend to hang around once they get to know me. But anyway, this is a lot like that. Only we don't have a vending machine. We don't have to take half of our profits and split it with the business owner, as I did with these bubblegum machines. I don't have to worry about ants eating my candy and all that kind of stuff. This is as close to a virtual vending machine without all of the back, breaking labor and all of that as you're going to get. That's why I like it. Now, let's actually look at some real accounts. All right. We keep an account running all the time. We keep from 20 to 40 different ones running at different, investment levels. I can't remember, but I'm probably going to show you maybe 20 or so real quick. I want you to understand that these are demo bots. They are at exchanges. They've been running, some of them for a month, some of them 2 months, some of them 3 months, to give you a feel for what it's really like. We don't do anything except start them up and then stand back and watch. Don't touch them. All right. And so what you're going to see is as close to real as can get. Now, understand that there's no guarantee that if you do this, you're going to get results like what you're going to see on the screen. But I do want you to understand that these are the results for these coin pairs over the last 1, 2, 3 months. So let's take a look at it and talk about it a little bit. Okay. In order for me to do this, I need to pop over to my web browser. And let's see here. Let's go here. Okay. Just real quick, because the clock's here. I didn't realize I had this up. Bitcoin halving countdown clock. Isn't that nice? You have 598 days before the next Bitcoin halving. What are you going to be doing during that time? Okay. You're watching old Lucy reruns, or are you going to be getting your ducks together? I mean, that's it. Okay. This tells us, okay. In other words, this could spell out the timing for your future. This is a guaranteed thing. All right. Now let's take a look at these accounts. All right, now I want to show you real quick. When you first see this, sometimes it looks a little scary because there's numbers all over the place, but you see these familiar dots, okay? The red dots mean I'm sold a little bit, and the green dots mean that I'm buying a little bit. And you can see it going along. And you can tell right here, remember I talked about a sideways market? that's pretty much it. That's kind of what crypto can look like at times, okay? It can just kind of run along, it goes up and down and whatever, but a lot of times it just goes sideways. Traders hate that. They can't make any money out of it. But you can see we're making money as it goes sideways. And in fact, this particular account here, okay, is the top one. These are the numbers for that one automation going right across here. And you can see that this particular automation has made a 36% profit in 3 months. It's been running exactly 3 months. All right. It has done 2,191 transactions. All right. And it has basically made $540 doing nothing. I know that we set it up and we forgot it. And it's been running here until I showed it to you. All right. So this thing here, it was $1,500. Each of these, we put 1,500 in. Okay. So $1,500 was put in. Okay, initially, and you can see it's made $540. That's the money that's wiggled out. Now, again, I want to remind you, this thing's running, and the $540 that is wiggled out is spendable. You might get $1 today, maybe $2 the next day, and these nickels and dimes and quarters as they add up, and that money is spendable. And the thing keeps going. It's not like the other trading that most everybody else does, where you put a bunch of money in, and then you just buckle down and you pray. You hope it goes up, and then you got to figure out when to get out. And let's say you luck out and you get out, maybe you make $200 or $300 and you're thinking, wow, God, I can tell my spouse, I didn't lose the house, and then guess what? You're out of business. You're out of business because now you got to take another gamble. You got to try to find another spot, where it's down at the bottom and hope it goes up again. And you just constantly are doing that. And it can just drive you nuts. Now, this isn't like that. This spits out the money all day, every day, and it just keeps going. Okay. The trade keeps going. It's just spitting out the profits as you go along. That's the difference. Now, there is a column here called the change column. The change column, okay, I'm going to show you all of these. The change column, basically, we were talking about this one here, tells you how much you would net as your takeaway profit if you were to close it down right at this moment. Now, we let these things run forever, but if I were to close this down right at this moment, okay, because the value of the coin pair is down just a little bit, I would make 21% return on my money, okay? So it's as if though I've made 36% and the profit is spit out, but the value of the coin's down a little bit right now. So if I were to close it, I would only really walk away with the 21%. So this is your bottom line if you close it. This is the hardcore profit right here that you make right here from the actual bot. Okay. Now, you can see here, this one's down a little bit. So that means that if I were to close this one, let me click on this one. That's this one right here. If I were to close this one right now, I would lose 1.48% on my investment. So what do? I don't close it. I just let it keep wiggling. It has made me 2.93% in 11 days and 6 hours. And I'm just going to let this thing keep running. Because you can see if you look through these things, these down here have been running 3 months and 28 days. This one is 3 months and 6 days. These have been running a good while. These have been running 2 months and 15 days. This is 1 month and 2 days. This was 27 days and 19 hours. This was 11 days. We just constantly are putting them in here. If I were to close this, I would lose a little bit on this one. So what do? I don't close it. Okay. I think a good analogy for that is real estate. Imagine if you had a rental unit, a property. Okay. Value went down. Maybe you bought it at $100,000. You got a tenant in there. They're paying you a monthly rent and you're happy with it. What if the value went down 1 month? Would you just sell the property because you're like freaking out? Oh my gosh, my property's worth $5,000 less today, so I'm going to sell it. No, you just keep the rent coming in, and then eventually, the price comes back up because real estate prices go up and down, just like crypto, just like stock, just like everything, really. All right. And so that's what we do as well. These will go up and down. So some of these are green, some of them are red. But if you sum up everything, if you took all of these automations that we have going here, you'll see that over a period of 3 or 4 months, okay, we have invested a total of $6,928, and that it has given us a return of, across all of them, the winners and the losers, a return of 6.83%. You tell me where you can get 6.83% doing very little, okay, in today's market, okay? And this can be higher, it can be lower, but that's what it is right now. In other words, if I were to shut everything down right this moment, I would walk away with $2,669. But surprise, surprise, we don't have to shut it down. We can just let it keep wiggling the profits out. And so it goes. Okay, that's it. Now, I do want to mention just a couple of things about just the system itself. Sometimes the price will go up above the top of our spider web, up above the top of the grid range. Okay, and when it does that, this whole thing just follows along. In other words, it's like it's on wheels. It's like a spider web on wheels, and it'll just kind of go up and follow along. The whole darn thing that keeps you in the wiggle. If the price goes down, you got to remember that this is deep. All right. If this thing goes down, it's got to go down like about 40 or 50%, a huge drop. But if it does do that, and sometimes it does, okay, then there is a formula to allow us to continue to make the wiggle. In fact, we can shut our lines down without selling our coins, and we can put the grid back up and get back into the wiggle again. And I show you how to do that in the course as well. Now, I'm not telling you you make money on every deal, every day, all the time, whatever, okay? I want to be clear, but I will show you what we're doing to increase the chances that you will win more than you lose. And when you win, you will win more money than you when you lose as well. And we go at it like that. Okay, now let's see how people start. I'm going to pop back over here. How to get started. Are you dotty over the plan? Do you want to wiggle your way to wealth? Hey. Or do you want to read about people who had bicycle crashes 2 months ago? I think I know. One thing that we've added is something that is very helpful. This has been requested by a lot of our members. In fact, I'm going to have Jason join me here for a minute, give me a chance to take a little sip of water, and he'll talk to you about a bonus that we're adding. Jason, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here, Dan. So this is what's called the CPR, coin pair research. And so if you're wondering, hey, listen, how does Dan find these coins and what's his system? And we teach you all of that in the plan. But instead of just only showing you how to fish, we're going to give you some fish as well. What I mean by that is everything that you saw Dan show in the demo account he just showed is the exact same kind of copy and pasting. Here's the coins, here's the setup. As long as the coin is within this range of price, then you put this thing here, you put this thing here, you put this thing here, and you push go, and then it runs. This is a service that we provide to ongoing plan members who would rather have us do the research for them than them do the research on their own. And it's a $300 a month is what is charged in terms of the investment to get involved in this. So 3 months of this service is $300 times 3. That's $900, essentially almost $1,000 in retail. You're going to get that for free. You're not going to see this on the page when you go to sign up because it's a special deal for you since you're here on the webinar during this last launch of the plan in 2022. And here's what's really cool about this. None of this is necessary. It is so easy to do the research the way that Dan shows you that the first time it may take you between 15 and 30 minutes in order to do it. But after a while, you can do it in 5 to 10 to 15 minutes. However, time is money. If you would rather have it done in seconds as opposed to a half an hour or so, or if you want to just have a double check your work kind of a deal where you put the answers into the quiz and then you flip to the back and you see, here's the answer key. Did I do it right? Then coin pair research is a huge deal for you. So this is an extra special bonus that you're going to get as long as you sign up before the expiration expires on the special offer last of 2022 for the plan. That's coin pair research. Dan, back over to you to give a little bit more detail on it.
What this does is it gives you all of the data points necessary to enter into the software. And you can see the little pink circles there. You'll just copy paste the data in there and you'll be able to back test it to see what had happened in the past. And then if you wish to start, you can. You'll be doing it with play money, demo money, so you can't lose, but you'll be able to see how this is going to work. And then later, once you do put real money in, it'll be the same process, but you'll have the coin pairs that you can consider using. So these are research, they're back tested. We have a team that does that, works across all of the exchange, probably any exchange that you're probably currently using, we work with. So we have a list of all of those. You get to pick that. These are copy paste ready, so it's pretty easy. I do teach you how to do this yourself. In fact, all those early people that came in, we didn't have this. And a lot of them like doing it because as you do the research to find the coin pairs, you learn a little bit more about crypto. It takes about 15, 20 minutes to do the research. I teach you how in the course. So you have the option of doing it yourself or using this on a silver platter system, if you like. Now, I've mentioned briefly here and there about the bottom feeder. You guys, I tell you, I mean, here we are halfway in, between the Bitcoin halving, so your timing's good there. The market's down. Remember that rainbow chart? We're at the fire sale point. And then we've been using a special setting, which is called the bottom feeder bot, and it does exactly what it sounds like. It sits there and it catches the wiggle off of the bottom. It's the best place to have a grid bot running because these things are deep. We are already down at what many feel is at or near the bottom. It may go a little lower, who knows? But the point is that our spider web, our grid, reaches so deep that the odds are that you're going to keep your coin pairs within that grid range, for an extended period of time, months. Okay. And then hopefully as we move forward, we get into the new year, we get closer and closer to that Bitcoin halving, things can start to go higher. At any point in time, we'll let you know if it's time to move over to our different formulas. We do have several formulas for different markets. So you're going to get bottom feeder bot settings right now. Hurrah, hurrah. Okay. It also takes less capital to run these things. It's just great. Now, in addition, I wrote a book. It's a bestseller. It was featured recently on television. In fact, a program called The List on ABC, NBC, all that stuff. But anyway, this is a book that I wrote with my team members. It's called One Coin, Two Coin, What Coin, Bitcoin. It's not the plan. It's like the prequel to the plan. It will help you to get ready for the plan. It will help you to know how to move your capital from your mattress to crypto land, or from your bank or whatever, to get it into crypto land. And it's just a good primer so that you're in a good position when you jump into the actual course and platform that we have. So anyway, this book it's as easy as child play, step by step, for getting started. And it's written by people that me and my first two students, Elaine and Daniel. Now, how much is this? Boy, I jumped to that quick, didn't I? $3,497. Okay, that gives you everything. Okay, it basically puts you on a path. Okay, to be able to know how to handle crypto smart. You can't hide away from crypto. It's going to be in your life one way or the other. This way you can get started now for, smart. If that's a bit, rough as a lump sum, you can do 4 payments of $997. You will get our complete training. It's in modules. It's, everything's there. We have extreme support. Let me talk about support for just a second. We have over 50 people on support. You've met many of them. They're all doing the plan. When you submit a ticket to us, we will, in most cases, answer it within an hour or two. If it's more complex, it'll go up. Sometimes I answer it. All right. But it won't take long. We are there, and we're there fast because it's important. This is money. This is crypto. And so that's really good. This is for beginners. It's for pros. You will learn my famous do nothing strategy. You'll get the bottom feeder settings. This is as high reward and as low risk as you're going to find in crypto. Not no risk, but lower risk. It's the whole banana, or what do they say? The whole Megillah. If you're interested, it's at theplan.vip/join. It's up, live, running, ready right now. You could already be doing demo bots by tomorrow. Okay. Already be doing demo bots by tomorrow. May be some tax, depends on where you live. But hang on. Let's take a look at a couple more things that you need to know. Always, your money will be in your control only. It's not me, it's not my team, it's not some third-party software company. It will always be in your control, okay, at your exchange. Also, you can stop, pause, withdraw, or rev this thing up to meet your personality and your financial goals. Okay, you can do that at any time. You are in the driver's seat. I'm not going to teach you how to trade. You're not going to have to sit there and look at monitors all day. Okay, you will in the beginning because it's fun watching those dots, but you're not going to have to be learning how to read candlestick charts and all that crazy stuff. Okay, you just need to be able to follow some simple rules. That's really important. I'll give you the rules. There is third-party software. You'll notice when I showed you the demo, I didn't even hide. If you want to go over and get that software, good luck. All right, just good luck. All right. I lost money the first several months trying to do it. You need the formulas, okay? This is third party. It's written by a company we've been working with for a long, long time now. It's the best of any I've seen out there. They charge $69 to run, I think, 5 automations, and it's $150 or so to run up to 20 automations. Most people start with just 5. That's all you need. And you can go from there. Okay, prices can change because that's their pricing over there, but that's what it was the last time I checked. Next, this does require that you practice in demo mode. And did you hear me? I said require. We want, in fact, we insist that you go through this entire course, and I will teach you how to do this with play money. Okay. I don't want anybody to lose money, okay? I don't. And I want you to know how to ride the bicycle before you get out there in traffic. And so that's why we insist that you start with play money and demo mode and really understand this. And then you and you alone will make your own decision when you invest your real money. We'll help you all along the way, but you are always in the driver's seat, always making your own financial decisions. Okay, now this is a really important page. Let me run through it real quick. This is kind of like your yellow brick road, okay, to joining the plan and your financial future. Okay, when I get to the end, you may want to print this. Here's what you need to consider what you would do if you'd like to get on the wiggle bus. First, to join the course. When you sign up today, we will send you an agreement. It's a non-disclosure and our user agreement. And we'll give you a chance to read through that. You can, consult with whoever, share it with your spouse, whatever. And if everything's okay, you just sign that and send it back. Then that will lock you into a seat. If you don't like what you read or you decide you don't want to do it, then at that point, before you sign, you can have your money back, 100% money return. Now, once you've got your seat, then the refund goes away because you're in the course now, all right? So that's the first step. Second step is you'll then log into the member area. We have I'm very proud of our member area. You'll love it because not only is that all the videos, it's got step-by-steps. Everything is broken down. It's exhaustive and it's simplified. It's everything you could hope for, okay? But I want you to make a beeline over to the Getting Started guide because that will help you to get things all set up. You'll also be able to download the OneCoin, TwoCoin, WhatCoin, Bitcoin book. And it will help you to get your exchange set up and to onboard investment capital, okay, into the exchange of your choice. And again, we are there right away if you need help on anything. In the guide, there is a link to sign up for the proper software. You're going to connect that software. It's a real simple couple copy paste. You'll connect that software to your exchange. The software doesn't hold your money. The software just helps manage the spider web for you, okay? That's what it does. Now, you're going to watch the recordings, and you can watch them at your own pace. It's going to be, you have lifetime access to this. You'll watch them in the member area. And if you need help, you just pop us a question, okay? We'll answer right away. I want you to set up initially with play money, monopoly money, demo bots. We will give you the coin pairs, or if you want to do your own research, I'm going to show you how to do that. But it's provided, as Jason told you, we're going to give you this $900 service for free. For a while, okay? When you're comfortable, when you're looking at the dots on your demo bots and you're thinking, God, I wish that was real money, then it may be time for you to consider doing your first bot. Now, when you do that first bot, it requires you take $1,500 of your investment capital, and that will be put into the bot. You're not buying a bot. You're just putting that money in it, and that's your working capital that will buy and sell and buy and sell and buy and sell and buy and sell. Now, the reason it's $1,500 is because you have to have a little bit of money ready to buy and sell on each line, and there could be 100 or 140 lines in this thing. And so the exchange has a limit that can be on each line. It's usually around $25. But if you multiply it all out, it ends up being around $1,500. Now, here's the other good news. All the people that started back, 6 months ago, last year, they all had to start with $3,000 bots because there was a different formula at that time. But the bottom feeder bot, okay, is extremely efficient. And so you get to partake in all of this stuff. I mean, we're at a fire sale. We're, halfway through the Bitcoin halving. You're lucky to be here at a time that you also can start a bottom feeder bot, and it's half what everybody else had to put in. So that's all going for you. You'll set your goals. You're going to follow the plan. You're going to ignore the FUD. You're going to ignore the skeptics that are out there telling you that you're going to ride your bicycle into a ditch and you shouldn't do it. You need to just keep walking, right? No bicycles, walk, okay? Screw that, all right? I'm on the bicycle, okay? I got an e-bike now. This thing is great. I'm snowballing my results, and I'm going to continue to do that. You can too. Now, finally, what do? Say it with me. Nothing. Nothing. That's what we do. We do nothing. Now, print this. Hit print. Because this is that first part of your journey. You're going to get on the bus with me and my team and other members, and we're just having a hell of a good time, okay? It's a lot of fun, and we're learning and helping each other along the way. A quick little sneak peek at our member area is right here. We've got professionally done videos. A lot of you guys know I was the guy that did the marketing for the hit movie The Secret a long time ago. And the director of that movie is also our video guy. So we have high-end stuff in here. It's just a joy to learn, okay, in the system that we have. So that's a quick look at that. Again, the plan.vip/join. I can see that people are already joining. Let me summarize everything, okay? It's $3,497, which is a one-time investment in your future, okay? That will give you access, full access right away to everything, okay? Or you can do the installment plan, which is $997 over 4 months. You still get access to everything, okay? But it may help you to ease into the plan. In fact, some people use some of the wiggle profits to help cover the future payments. It's possible. The automation software is $69 a month. That's where most people start. It allows you to run 5 bots. You could spend a little more later, but in the beginning, $69 is probably good. And then you will need, it says 3,000, but guess what? Because we're doing bottom feeder bots, it's only about $1,500 of capital that would go into the bots. Now, understand how this works. You put your investment capital in, it starts to kick out nickel, dimes, and quarters. And then in the future, it might be 3 months, 6 months, it might be a year down the road. When you close the bot out, if it's higher, you will have made all of the profits in the nickels, dimes, and quarters as you go along. And then at the end, you will get that $1,500 back, okay? Now, the market were to tank and everything in the world blows up and of course, we could lose our money, okay? But the plan is, and the optimistic goal is that's kind of the way we plan here. Now, I'm almost done, but I'm going to ask you a trick question. If there was ever a time to have a plan, if you ever wanted to get that bicycle again, remember that feeling. Maybe it's time for the plan, okay? Now, if you sign up, there's no bicycle lessons. We're only going to talk crypto, but it sure is a good analogy. So I'm going to pass it back over to Jason. He's going to open it up, and we're going to have your questions. And any question, we'll stay here as long as we can help you. Jason.
Well done, Dan. I hope everybody really paid attention to whatever Dan was showing you here, because the proof was in the pudding. He showed you bots that were live right now as they are designed specifically taught into the course at the plan.vip/join. So I have also with me here the other co-founder of Rapid Crush Inc. His name is Wilson Matos. The story you heard from us earlier, as we saw what Dan was showing us, we said, we're going to try it. It worked out well. So we said, hey, can we work with you? Because we can run the operations, we can do the marketing behind it, we can provide first level support, and we can go out there and introduce it to the people that we know and that we can reach in now over 130 countries. So, Will, if you're here, go ahead and speak up real quickly, because I know you've been watching the chat as well. And what we're going to do here is, as long as it takes and as long as it makes sense, we're going to go through and we're going to answer your questions. And we're going to take each of the serious questions that we think will help you make a decision, whether it makes sense to say yes to this thing or makes sense to say no to this thing. It's certainly not a perfect thing for everyone here. So I'm not sure if Will is there or not. If he's not there, then I also have a backup document where I was making questions available that I could open up. But let's talk. Let's deal with a couple. Let's deal with a couple of the obvious questions that I just see coming through in the chat. First question is, what's the minimum investment to get started here? Now, it's interesting because you see on the screen right now on the slide, and maybe we can update this, Dan, or maybe we can just go back to another slide that has just the regular information, because the investment capital is no longer $3,000 for a single automation. The investment capital for a single automation is $1,500. Now, it used to be $3,000. This is what's really exciting about this. There we go. There's the auto. So that was a keynote thing, right? It used to be $3,000. It's now $1,500. And you say, Jason, why the change? Well, a couple of reasons. One thing is even Dan is never satisfied with just excellent. He wants to be an 11 out of 10, not a 10 out of a 10. So he's always optimizing even further as it makes sense, because the markets change. And so a couple of months back, when the markets went into a different phase, Dan went and retooled the formula to be even more effective in the current phase as it was. And it turns out in the current phase of the market right now, you only need $1,500 to build these grids. When it goes back to the way things were, if Bitcoin ever goes back to 60,000 again, and, Ethereum, goes double what it is now, or whatever the case may be, then be prepared in the future to put $3,000 in to start an automation. But for now and for the future, as far as I can see it, because who knows when the market's going to turn around? Nobody besides those with a crystal ball, which I've never found one of those. Nobody besides those with a crystal ball are going to be able to tell you the answer to that. And so $1,500 is the minimum that you need to run an automation with. Now, some people say, Jason, I don't even have the $1,500. Well, what should I do in that situation? Well, here's the good news for you. Join anyway and run demo mode, because demo mode requires $0 to run through an automation. It's pretend money. And so you can get the system down. You can play with the system. You can work through the system. You can see how it works. You can prove to yourself. I think that's the smartest thing to do, is to prove to yourself that the system actually works. And then you can come on and you can put in real money as it makes sense to you, as you acquire it, as you fund it. Here's one thing I can tell you with absolute certainty. We are not opening up the plan again in 2022. Usually we have launch dates already set up for the next time around. They've been 5-6 months. That's kind of the rhythm. We don't have one scheduled. So I can't even tell you when we were to open it in 2023. There's a high likelihood if we open it in 2023 that the minimum investment per bot is going to be $3,000, just simply because the market will probably cycle back through at that point in time. Again, that's I don't know for certain, but that's the general consensus. And so in that situation, you would be waiting, you wouldn't be making cash flow, you wouldn't get the wiggle, so to speak, from these automations, and you would have to start funding your bots probably with more. So it makes sense. If it makes sense at any time, now is the very best time it makes sense. Okay, cool. So Will's having an audio issue, so he's sending me the questions via text. So I'm going to answer some of these right now. Can it be done with any other coins besides Bitcoin? And the answer to that, Amanda asked that, is it can be done with any coin. There are over 7,000 cryptocurrencies, believe it or not. Now, I'll tell you, 6,500 of them are probably worthless. Dan will show you amongst what we call large cap coins, which means coins that have a track record, coins that have been around for a while, that are not just the new flavor of the month, coins that have a certain historics. He will show you where to go to find and filter those very quickly. At any given time, there's only a couple hundred that make sense. And then from those couple hundred, you filter it down with the second step in the research, and then you run a little test in the software, and then that'll be basically green means go, red means no, kind of a situation there. So any and every coin can be run through these automations, but there's only a couple hundred that it would make sense. Now, I want you to listen to what I just said there, because it's really important that you parse what I just said. We are not trying to catch these penny stock type of over-the-counter sort of coins, to use an old stock market term. Those are way too risky. 99% of new coins that launch, they are just flat out worthless. So we want coins with utility. What do I mean utility? Most of these coins that are running automations right now from our students, they are not financial coins. They are not made to be designed to be currencies directly. They're called cryptocurrencies, but they have utility behind them because they're research type of coins in the medical fields, or they're doing stuff in music to help distribute funds to artists more efficiently than they currently are. They're disruptive technologies in various different industries. that are going to replace the status quo, just like Uber replaced taxi, just like Spotify replaced the music industry. And so they are represented as tokens. And you can invest in them with this system. And that's what's really exciting about this. Really, essentially, it's like Bitcoin and Ethereum are like the king and queen of crypto land, but there are so many other amazing, exciting, wonderful opportunities out there. And we're picking and parsing the best of the best with the least amount of risk. So we have a safety first approach. We wear our hard hat when we go through the crypto land. We're not trying to go get rich or die trying. We're not going for 10Xers, 10 baggers, as they call them. We are looking at steady, slow, simple returns, as Dan showed you earlier on our demo bots right now in this exact market condition, 6% a month, 7% a month, 10% a month from the bots themselves, regardless of whether the crypto goes up or down. Pretty impressive, isn't it? Who else is getting 6% per month right now? Most people that are doing that, they're risking way too much. We minimize the risk, so there is as little of that as possible, so we could take advantage of whatever upside remains. And you've seen it firsthand. Fantastic question. Tony says, how does the bot buy crypto when it goes down? Does it use profit, or is there a reserve account to DCA? That DCA, just for those of you who don't know, is called dollar cost averaging. And the way that it works, I'm not going to get too in the weeds here. Dan mentioned this earlier, but essentially you say, all right, I'm going to set up an automation. Here's my $1,500, and it spreads that money across the grid. So you have money to work with, right? And so at any point in time, because it's going to go up and down a lot. That's the nature of crypto. Just like the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, crypto fluctuates constantly. It's like a hummingbird. And so you will have that initial funding of the bots spread across a series or a web, as Dan likes to call it, right? And so that will, if it starts going down right away and you got to keep funding it, that's in your reserve, so to speak. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, all of your profits are spit out and separated. So every time your bot makes a sell, your bot is programmed to only sell at a price higher than what it bought a chunk of crypto for. So it might buy, $1 worth of crypto, and then it says sell at $1.20, and then you make a 20-cent profit out of that. So that doesn't reinvest. That pulls it out of being traded and just sets it aside in your exchange. This would be like the equivalent of every time you made a little bit of money on a stock, it would just put it in your bank account, similar to that. And so the whole purpose of funding a bot is to have that $1,500 spread across all of those automations. That's why it's designed that way. Any profit the bot itself will spit out will go back to your exchange, which is essentially like your digital bank account, so to speak. And that's how that works. Now, what's cool about this is if the coin itself goes up and you want to sell it, say you bought the coin for 10 and it's now 20, you can close and sell the bot at any time and capture all of your gains from the coin itself, what to speak of all the bot gains, which have already been captured. Now, obviously, the flip side is true. If you enter at 5 or if you enter at 10 and you decide to close the bot at 5 for whatever reason, I don't recommend you doing that, but you can if you want to, then you will have lost half the value of what you've invested in the coin itself. But the bot's profit still remains. So if you've made more than 50% on the bot and you've lost 50% on the coin, you've net profited overall. This is equivalent to buying a house for $100,000, selling it for $50,000. But in the meantime, you had somebody paying you rent and they paid you over $50,000 in rent. So hopefully that makes sense to you. If not, we'll sit here and we'll clarify some of this stuff. Kevin says, does any of the bot wiggle profits come from other people you share joining that I may introduce to the plan? Okay, let me try to figure out what you mean by that, Kevin. We definitely don't take a cut of anybody's profit who makes money running these automations as taught by Dan in the plan. We couldn't if we wanted to. We don't want to. We can't. Nobody touches your money besides you. It's 100% in your control at all times. By the way, the number one way people lose money in crypto is they give their crypto to somebody else to do stuff with. We don't do that. We don't play that game, okay? Are there people recommending the plan to their audiences? You better believe it. This is why this is one of the hottest things on the internet, because a lot of people who are helping their audiences make money are noticing that the plan is just crushing it. And so they get an incentive. we pay them a referral fee in this situation. So we have a program in which that occurs, and they should be disclosing that as we have instructed them to do so. So anybody who has signed up to the plan through the referral, they do get a commission on. But that is independent and has nothing to do with anything that you would generate in terms of revenue, gains, or losses, one or the other, with the plan trading crypto the way that Dan teaches. Here's what's going to happen probably. I can't predict the future, but it's funny how trends seem to cycle back through. Time is a flat circle, as a philosopher once said. And what'll happen is if crypto gets hot again, which everybody seems to think that it will, everybody will rush back in at that point in time. But wouldn't you like to get there first in the front row? And it feels like, to me at least, and I could be wrong, because again, who could predict the future? It feels like in the cycle, we can get a front row seat right now. And regardless of if or when it goes up, we can still be having the bot make us profit. I believe that crypto is here to stay. Just like original digital music, it was kind of bumpy. There was Napster, and then there was, like Kazaa, and then they were trying to figure out what about the piracy, and then they were figuring out distribution rights and how you would send it to this place, and if you downloaded it, how could you put it on another device? And then it was all figured out. Was it a straight line from point A to point B? No. It was a curly Q. It was all over the map, but we all kind of had this feeling that this is what the future was going to be, and nobody could deny it. And then the future showed up. Just like businesses, there used to be this conversation that maybe one day there'll be a need for a website. Nowadays, it's like digital first. Brick and mortar is a secondary concern. Everything is digital first these days. We all knew it was moving towards that if any of us were paying attention. Now, was it a perfect from straight line from here to there? No. There was bumps along the way, as there is with anything, right? However, those that stayed the course, they tended to have the biggest benefit. And so I think we have this extra special thing for you where you can stay the course, because while it's bumpy, I'd rather have a little bit of turbulence and sitting in first class than have turbulence and sitting at the back of the plane. I'd rather be in a nice big plane that can handle the turbulence as opposed to a small little puddle jumper. You know what I mean? And so I feel like that's what we've designed here. We have the ability for the bots to generate cash flow. We have 50 plus support agents and a whole team behind us. We have the coin pair research, of which you get 3 months. When you sign up today, you're going to get 3 months access to that as well. And you get it all, because we so firmly believe in this. Our mission at our company, Rapid Crush Inc., is to produce more success stories for our students than anybody else in our industry. And that's why when we came into meeting with Dan, we were like, ugh, Bitcoin. And when we left, we said, oh, opportunity. We would rather be wrong and rich than right and poor. Hopefully you can relate to that. The plan.vip/join. That's where you go to sign up. All right. Daryl says, how do I put the wiggle real money in my real currency bank account to buy a chicken sandwich I need to eat today? Well, hopefully you got some money on hand, because this is not an instantaneous transfer. So say your Bitcoin, say your bots, your automation, say it's picking up a steady chunk of money every single day. And then let's say the money adds up to $1,000 by the end of the month. Okay. At any point in time, if you wish to, you can take that money from your exchange and you can send it to however you have instructed the exchange to give it to you in your fiat currency of choice. Dollar, pound, yen, whatever currency you wish, right? Now, different exchanges, and this software supports all the major exchanges out there, and that's why we've been able to help people in 130 plus countries. Different exchanges are going to have slightly different protocols. So some of them have a way where you could do a direct transfer to your bank account. Others have like a card that kind of like a credit card or a debit card would be more precise, where they can send you a card and you could load it onto a debit card and use it just like a debit card. And then there are various varieties of other ways that these exchanges can have you push the money back into your fiat currency of choice. Again, dollar, pound, yen, whatever the case may be. So that's how you would do it. It's not immediate. So depending again on the exchange and depending on where you're located in the world, it could take a day, it could take 2, it could take 3, it could take 5. Again, it also depends on the amount of money as well. Here's the good news. As a precursor to the plan, when you sign up for the plan in the members area, there's all sorts of training that walk you through step by step, screenshot by screenshot, handhold by handhold, exactly the particulars of some of these simple questions. They're fundamental questions to crypto, but they're very easy to learn. So even if you don't know the precise answer to those questions yet, we have all the procedural stuff taken care of. Now, obviously, the procedural stuff in and of itself doesn't make you money. This is like a person who wants to start an online business and they say, if I just buy a computer, then I'm halfway there. No, you're not. The computer is an access point. It's step one in a series of steps. And so the plan is the magic. But because we have this assumption going in that we said, let's design the plan in a way that if somebody has never done anything crypto related before in their life, could we take them and put them through the plan? That's how we designed it. We designed it so we could take any random stranger off the street and we could put them in front of the plan and they could follow it. So if they didn't know what crypto was, we taught them what crypto was. If they didn't know how to set up their first exchange, we taught them how to set up the first exchange. If they didn't know basic security stuff, we showed them all the security stuff. And then we laid it out in a way that's really simple to follow. As Dan showed you earlier, he showed you a really slick looking, really awesome, really amazing members area. So not only do we give you the best information, the clearest information, but we put it out there in the cleanest way possible so you can follow it step by step. All right.
Hey, Jason, there's also on the Plan VIP/join, there's also an FAQ of frequently asked questions that covers a lot of very good information, because I'm seeing some questions here in the chat box. One of the questions is the bot 100%, like it absolutely cannot lose money? Sort of yes and no, meaning that it will never will never make a losing trade. It can only sell for more than what it bought, period. Now, the crypto that you're trading could go down in value, as was already explained to you. So if you bought crypto at $100 and it goes down to $50 per coin or whatever the amount is, you've lost value. That doesn't mean you lost money. You only lose that money if you sell. Dan explained this, Jason explained this already, and now I'm explaining for a third time. So the bot cannot lose money, but the value of the currency can go down. And it's this up and down, like Dan explained earlier, the volatility that we capitalize on. The bot buys at a certain price and it sells for a little bit more. So until it reaches that little bit more than what it paid for, it won't sell. But that little bit more is very relative. It's not a point in time. It's not like you buy today, sell only if it goes up. You buy a little bit as it goes down each time, and you sell a little bit more when it goes up each time, and at micro levels. So if the price goes down, you buy a little bit. If it goes down, you buy again, and you buy again, you buy again. As soon as it goes up above any of the lines where it bought, that's when it starts selling. So it's buying and selling all the time, because crypto doesn't just go down in a flat line. It doesn't go up in a flat line. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down. So it's constantly buying and selling. Dan showed the graphs earlier, and you saw the red dots and the green dots. Every green dot is a buy. Every red dot is a sell. Or is it backwards? It's backwards, isn't it? Every red dot is a buy. Every green dot is a sell. Sorry about that. Got my dots confused there. So you can see the dots on the chart, and you can see that crypto goes up and down, fluctuates up and down, and that's the up and down that we capitalize on. A couple of more questions here. Do I need a powerful laptop for the plan and running the automation software? You do not need any specific type of laptop. You don't need anything too powerful. If you have a web browser, a computer with a web browser that you can get on the internet on, that's all that you need, because you don't run the software on your computer. The software is cloud-based. It runs on servers that are hosted by the company that sells the software. You're paying for a software subscription. That's what it is. It's a software subscription. It's a third party. Dan doesn't control it. It has nothing to do with the plan, other than it's the best software that Dan has found and has worked with the company for years now to make sure that it fills the need for members of the plan. Let's see. How do you ask questions while taking the course? You email support, and support is going to answer your questions very, very quickly and accurately. So we have first tier support, which is approximately 45 agents or so, and that group of support agents will answer your requests within an hour or less on average. If that team cannot answer the question because it is a more technical or more involved question, then Dan has a tier two support team. And a tier two support team will answer you a little bit slower, but because it probably requires a little bit of research. And they oftentimes record videos and voice messages and take screenshots for you, whatever it takes to answer your question. And if for whatever reason the tier two support team cannot answer the question, which is extremely rare because they're all members and doing the plan, then Dan himself will look at the questions and answer the questions. So you are going to get whatever support you need. And there's no time frame for support. You can get support for as long as you're a member of the plan. And since it's a one-time payment to join phase one of the plan, you can ask support for as long as you need to.
Yeah, there's also fly on the wall sessions that come about. They're not regularly scheduled, so they come and go as it makes sense in the market conditions. So every so often, Dan and Tony will get on and they will do these jam sessions where, hey, this is what's happening, this is what we're doing, this is what we're developing, and then in those instances, there's some chances of interactivity as well as they come. In short, we've built a massive community because we know information alone is not enough. You need everything that you can to support you, because there are times when the crypto market does weird things and people go temporarily insane during those times. And I am not impervious to that, and neither are you. And that's when the community effect is really effective for you, is so that way you can stay the course and it makes sense. So you're going to get all the support you can stand. Better support than you've gotten anywhere. I can say that 100% certainty. You're going to get the community surrounding this. You're going to get so many people that are involved in this. So there's nothing that you're going to encounter that we haven't seen before. You're going to get the most current, up-to-date insight of research, and you're going to have the track record backing you all along the way. It's really sad right now because people are saying, hey, listen, because it got really cold last winter, I better not go outside during the spring. So they're making decisions based upon those things, and they're staying out of crypto. And a lot of people think that crypto is over with, that it's done, that it was a fad, and that it was a scam, and that it will no longer be. It will ride off into the sunset, or maybe crawl off with its head down into the sunset, never to be seen again. And oh man, that couldn't be further from the truth, at least from the way that we see it. From our opinion, we still see the future of it. We still see the disruption taking place. And again, it's not a perfectly straight line. People get really excited about it, and then there's a bump in the road. People get really excited about it, and then there's a bump in the road. Right now, there's been a bump in the road, and it makes sense. And it's not just crypto. You look around and you tell me what else hasn't been affected with this crazy combination of things that have occurred lately. Everything has been affected. So what do you look for during that situation? Well, I don't know about you, but I look for things that have the least amount of risk, that have the most amount of opportunity. I want to play in those environments. I don't want to play in the past because I'm going to get the past results at best. I want to play in the future where I can potentially shape a better destiny than I had before. And if that
Jason,
resonates,
it's very interesting talking to people, and I have a lot of friends, obviously, who have not yet joined the plan. And it's very interesting hearing their take on crypto, looking at how crypto is down right now. Some of them will often say like, oh, I knew that stuff was a scam, it's down, it came down like crazy, and the market crashed, I knew it was going to crash, and it's a scam. I'm like, okay, so look at your 401k right now. Look at your investment accounts in the stock market. Are you calling that a scam? It is, by the way, but that's a separate conversation, right? That's an ideological conversation for another time. But the NASDAQ I was reading today, and I don't keep track of this, but I just saw a headline. It's at the lowest price that it's been in over 2 years as of this morning at some point. So it lost like almost half of its value over the last few months alone. All financial markets are down. Does that mean it's a bad time to invest? No, it's actually, in my opinion, in my layman's opinion, because I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that, it's a great time to invest because as everybody gets out, smart money gets in. This is when you buy. You don't buy when the prices are high. You got to buy when the prices are low. You make money when you buy, not when you sell. Because if you buy low, then that's when you're going to make money, because you're able to sell high. If you buy at the top, when everybody was buying crypto last year in September, October, November last year, everybody was buying crypto. Crypto was like every third headline in the news was about crypto this, crypto that, Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that, Ethereum this, Ethereum that, right? And everybody was buying it. I remember being at a restaurant and talking to a friend about crypto and talking to him about the plan, and the waiter overheard us, and he's like, "Oh, you guys talking about Bitcoin? I just bought some Bitcoin." I had a contract, an electrician in my house doing work, and he was talking on the phone about Bitcoin. Everybody was buying it. Now everybody's like, not everybody, obviously, the plan members get it, but a lot of people are just down on it because, hey, the market's down right now, and this is a big mistake. This is the time to buy. Tim was asking about safety and security and certifications and all that. Tim must be an IT guy like me. The software itself does not have access to your crypto directly, Tim, and this goes for everybody else also. The exchange has access to your crypto. In the exchange, the way you configure the software, you configure the exchange and the software connection via what are called APIs, and you don't need to know any of this, but for Tim's sake here. And the software only has access to trade within the exchange. So the software, for example, couldn't send crypto to another wallet or to another exchange. You have to go to the exchange to do that. So the software only has the ability to trade within your exchange account, period. It does not have access to withdraw, to pay crypto to anyone else or anything like that. And that is enforced at the exchange level. So where you really want to do the certification and the auditing, Tim, if you would like to do that and go that far, is at the exchange level when you choose the exchange. And inside the plan, like Jason mentioned earlier, there's a book, a companion guide, and in the companion guide is a lot of information that some of it is kind of difficult to find, but it's all publicly accessible, just difficult to find and not in a manner that's easily consumable. We've created a companion guide that allows you to very easily find all the resources related to the exchanges and compare the exchanges and the fees and all that stuff, so that you can choose the best exchange for you. So that's where you want to do your audit and your security certification or ask those questions, Tim, is not on the software side for the bots, because that's only setting up buy and sell orders. That's all it's doing. It's doing nothing else. It cannot access your crypto directly.
So go ahead and get signed up at the plan.vip/join. We're going to give away some money here real quickly, and then we're going to stay on and we're going to answer as many questions as possible. But I'm going to have a question for you, and I want you to give me the answer. And when you give me the answer, regardless of whether the answer is correct or not, this is essentially your entry to win. We will randomly pick people from the Zoom chat. So I only want you to reply once when I tell you to reply. If we find out later that you replied more than once, then you will be disqualified from your prize if you shall win it. I'm going to ask you one question, and I want you to put the answer in, and that's what we're going to select it from. So one answer from you. Here's the question. What is Dan's famous strategy for following the plan? The thing that you're going to do 99% of the time. It's 2 words. He mentioned this earlier. Go ahead and type that into the chat right now. Put it in there. We'll give you a few seconds to go ahead and type it in, submit it. 1 entry per person. And when that's done here, Will tell me when he's ready, and we're going to randomly scroll through that, and we're going to pick. Now, there's over 1,000 people here. So there's a lot of people. What we're going to do is when we pick, we're going to ask you to verify a couple pieces of information. So that way we make sure you're here live, because that's the only way you can win this money. And then we'll verify that that's indeed you. And then we'll make sure to make a note of that to follow up with you to give you your money.
Yeah, a lot of people still answering.
Okay, so we'll give it
a few more seconds here.
We got 5 people.
Let's answer a couple of questions in the meantime. So please don't type any more questions right now, because we're doing the entries right now.
Yeah, we will get back to the questions. I promise you that. I've blocked off the whole rest of my day just to make sure I can have the time to answer those questions. So I understand how important this is. So 5 people are going to win $500 here, right, Will?
Yep, 5 people are gonna win $500 each. And we'll maybe do 2 or 3 right now and then come back and do another one. How about that?
Yeah, let's do 3 right now, and then we'll circle back and we'll do
Okay,
2 more in a
so what
little
I'm
bit.
going to do is I'm going to randomly scroll, and I'm scrolling through up and down and up and down as fast as I can. I can't even read the names because I'm scrolling so fast. So Jason, you will tell me when to stop, and wherever my mouse is located, and I cannot see the names right now, you tell me where to stop. And there
Okay,
are,
stop.
okay, so it's scrolling stopped. Tim Share. Tim, what I need you to do, and only Tim share, nobody else do this, please. Only Tim share. If you would tell me the email address that you used to register for this webinar and your phone number, if you would do that for me, please, while I paste this. And Jason, I'm going to keep scrolling some more.
Yeah, do
on the
another
team
scroll and then
for
we'll.
that. I'm
Okay.
scrolling.
Stop.
Pamela Starnes or Stearns, I don't know. Pamela Starnes. Pamela, I need you to give me your phone number and the email address. And this is just so we can contact you for to give you your prize. And I'll have the team look this up in Zoom, and then we'll do one more. Okay, I'm scrolling, Jason, up and down we go. Stop. Jackie Kess. So Jackie, same thing for you. If you would please, in the chat box, type in one message, your email address and your phone number. And you gotta, everybody's present, should be present because you answered the questions. So you should be.
We'll give away 2 more $500 prizes later.
Yeah, we'll give 2 more away. So let me just copy and paste this information. Tim, I got you. Jason, while I search for this, for these folks' information here, and I got Pamela's also. Why don't you talk about taxes? Because there are a lot of questions about taxes.
Yeah, so here, let me talk about taxes. They suck. Yeah, everybody's got to kind of pay them though if they want to, if they make money. Maybe there's a special situation out there, but for everybody I've encountered in any government situation, is if you make money, you're going to pay some taxes on it. Now, here's the good news: you never pay more in tax than what you make, not even close. And you don't pay taxes first. You make the money first, and then you pay the taxes later. Typically, it's not an immediate later; it's a later in the future. It is not the funnest thing. You will have to sort through some of the data because this is high frequency. So you're going to have a lot of trades, and each of those trades in most situations are going to be required to have to be reported to whatever organization, whatever government institution, through whatever professional that you use to make and submit those reports to. Here's the good news: is all these exchanges, they keep records of all of these transactions, and it's all kind of, because it's all on the blockchain, so there's data there. So these exchanges will have these records. You take these records, and that's everything that reports all of your trades that you would need to go to for your government to report your earnings that would then be taxed however your government decides to tax them. Now, you may be thinking, are there crypto expert accountants out there or tax professionals? And the answer is there absolutely are. We happen to have one who we believe is the best in the world, and she is on the plan. And she has provided some education as a bonus to give you a better overview and understanding of the terrain of crypto taxes, because it's a relatively new concept. Because crypto is a relatively new concept. So she's going to lay down for you for free as a bonus, a base level foundation of understanding of the taxes and how it plays in crypto. You can, if you wish to, and this is completely on you, hire her firm or any special firm that you feel is a good firm for you to help you with your taxes if you want that additional help. Otherwise, however you file taxes right now, if you feel comfortable with your professional taking it in, that's certainly your choice as well. There is a third-party software that you can invest in optionally. And oftentimes you don't need to invest in it until it's later, until you make some money. And then that will help you. It's like a $500 a year software. It's the one that I use. And we recommend that inside of the plan as well. That can help you sort of parse the data and make it more easily understandable and to transfer it over in a way that's easier to deal with. But yeah, this is the name of the game. Show me anything that where you don't make a lot of money, where there's not some sort of tax situation involved, and there's not a little bit of time that needs to be invested in order to manage that tax situation. So this is that. Whatever you're going to do that's going to make you any significant potential amount of money is going to have taxes associated with it. We will help you by pointing you to the right resources, because we have experience now for a while with the tax situation and the ins and outs. So we will give you educational resources to consider, and you can do with them what you want, your life, your decision. And that's the tax situation. But you know what really breaks my heart is I see people that say, and my dad was this way. My dad would sit there and say, I don't want to work. My dad was a teacher, and then he'd paint houses in the summer. And then pretty soon he's like, man, I don't want to paint houses in the summer because I have to pay taxes. And as a kid, I thought that always meant that he was paying more in taxes than the money he was making. What it really meant was he wanted to keep 100% of his money instead of 70% of his money. So he kept 100% of $0 as opposed to 70% of $100,000 or whatever the case. My dad never made $100,000 in a year in his life. Even with inflation, he never made $100,000. And so, but whatever the case was, is that was the idea. That was what I grew up with, is that somehow you could be taxed more than the money you made. And that's never the case in any situation that I've ever seen. But I would hate for you to stop yourself from making an opportunity to change your life because you're afraid of paying some taxes on that changes. In that case, never become a millionaire, because unfortunately you will pay more taxes the more money that you make. Now, if you want to do other strategies and things like that, you're certainly welcome to do that. You can investigate it on your own time. And again, like I want to reemphasize one more time, we have what we feel are the experts that can give you educational consideration when it comes to taxes based on what we've curated and who we feel and who we trust and who we listen to. And so that's in the members area as well. That's the plan.vip/join. And you can go and get signed up here. By the way, that question and other questions related to that are on the plan.vip/join under our FAQ section. If you want to see it very specifically and you want to read it word for word, there it is. You're muted, Will.
Roger asks if you can do everything from a mobile device instead of a computer. And the answer is a qualified yes, meaning it is possible, Roger, but we highly recommend against it as your primary device. The phone, for example, is a great device to check on things. It isn't a great way to set things up, especially because it looks different than on a computer browser. So we train you to use a computer browser. So if we point like, click this button, put this number over here, you would have to figure out what that means and what that will look like on a phone. And it is just too small of a screen for you to do what you need to do. But it's a great device to look at your stats every day. Super awesome to look at stuff, but not to set it up. So we highly recommend against trying to do this on a mobile device only. We highly recommend that you have access to a computer. It doesn't need to be a powerful computer. It could even be like a Chromebook or anything like that. But a computer nonetheless. A full browser experience. Okay, let's see. Keiko says, I'm in. Congratulations. A lot of people saying they're in. Okay, let's talk about the process. Dan covered this earlier, but let me, we're seeing a lot of questions regarding this from folks that have signed up. So when you go to the plan.vip/join in the FAQ section, this is covered. And this is covered throughout the sales page as well, but I will cover verbally here. The process is this: you sign up. Within the next 48 hours, it could be sooner, could be no more than 48 hours for sure, you will receive an email with the non-disclosure agreement and participation agreement. It's one email, one document. You will then read through that, make sure you understand the terms, and once you're good with it, you understand it, you agree to the terms, then you sign that document electronically. We're going to send it to you through an electronic signing system. You just sign it online. We receive it. We check the document and this is done manually by a human being, not automated. And it will take us 24 to 48 hours to get to your document. And then once we do it, we verify that everything is signed correctly and everything is filled in correctly. Then we give you access to the members area where you're going to get access to the full training. So there's a little bit of a delay there. When you join, make sure you're using the correct email address and you don't have any typos in your email address field, because that's where we're going to send you the information. You will receive an email within the next 2 to 3 minutes after signing up. And this basically has the instructions that I'm telling you, that we're going to send you another email after that within 48 hours with the document. And then after you sign that document, it may take us up to 48 hours to review it, approve it, and then you will get an access email with your members area sign in. So there's a little bit of a delay. Now, you don't need to sign that document right away. Just know that you will not get any access until you sign it. Take as much time as you need to read it and understand it before you sign it, because it is a legally binding document. If for whatever reason, and there's less than 1% of people that don't want to sign it for whatever reason, if you are in that less than 1%, that you find an objection of some kind in the document, then do not sign it. Just let us know and we will refund your money. In fact, after a period of time, if we don't see a signed document from you, the refund is automated. We will automatically issue a refund. We'll let you know in advance in case there was an issue receiving the first email or whatever. Now, if for whatever reason, 48 hours after you sign up, you don't receive the NDA in your inbox, check your spam first, of course. Make sure it's not there for whatever reason. Then contact support. But don't sign up and then, an hour later contact support saying I haven't received my document. It may take up to 48 hours. The thing that I will tell you is the sooner you sign up, the sooner you will receive the document. We go in the order of signups. So if you sign up as soon as possible, if you sign up now, you're going to be receiving that document before somebody that signs up an hour from now. That's guaranteed.
Yeah, real quickly, Will, the reason why we do that, for those of you wondering, is if you ever thought it was interesting that you've bought courses that supposedly had secrets and then they didn't have you sign non-disclosure agreements, you start to wonder, right? Like Coca-Cola says, hey, listen, before we show you the secret recipe, you got to sign an agreement before we reveal that to you. So Dan has a secret recipe, and this is why we keep it under lock and key. It is that effective. It is that powerful. And so that's why we have you sign a non-disclosure. We also have you sign a user agreement, because we want to lay all of the cards on the table and let you know, here's what we expect from you. And if you can't deliver on these, we don't want you as part of the course, because we want to have the right people situated with the right attitude going in, and then we give them the right plan. This is why we become the #1 cryptocurrency trading training course that exists out there and program by reputation of how well we treat our members. And so that's the process. Now, we can't automate that because we manually prepare these documents for each and every single one of you. Now, we're pretty good. We have a lot of people on staff. We have 50 people that are surrounding this whole thing that can help and aid in that regard. And we're always conservative. If you haven't noticed that by now, we say up to 48 hours. Usually it plays out a lot sooner than that. But that's the reason that we do that process. It's for everybody's benefit, including yours. The plan.vip.
Yeah, that document contains a non-disclosure agreement. That's pretty standard. It's just a non-disclosure, meaning we're going to share secrets with you. You're not allowed to share with other people. You will read that. The rest of that document is called a participation agreement. In the participation agreement, we tell you what you can expect from us. For example, we outline all the deliverables. We will give you this, 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 and that. It also says we will not give you this, we will not give you that, we will not give you, etc. Right? So we're very clear on what we will give you and what we won't give you. But it also has information in there that you agree to, because we have expectations of you. Yep. And unless you are willing to commit to fulfilling those expectations, then we don't want you in the plan. For example, one of the expectations is that no matter what, you will not invest more money than you're willing to lose. Yep. Because there is risk with everything. Now, we believe there's a lot less risk in the plan than in any other investment mechanism or investment training, but there's still risk.
Yep.
We also, we are telling you, and we expect you to run things in demo mode. Many of you are going to look at the demo mode bots that you're running, and after running them for a few days, you're like, damn, I wish I was running that for real, because I could have been making that money for real. And when you run demo bots, you don't risk any money, but you also don't make any real money. It's all play money. It's just make believe money, right? And you're going to be antsy to want to go ahead and put real money in. We tell you, only put money in when you understand the system and are comfortable enough making your own investment decisions, because we do not give you, Dan doesn't, or anybody at the plan, nobody will give you investment advice. We're not legally allowed to give you any investment advice, and we will not. Everything that we tell you to do or teach you to do is to be done in demo mode. Then once you learn the system, then it is up to you to make your own decisions. So we're very clear about all this on the sales page. We're very clear about it on this webinar. We're very clear about a legal document you sign saying you understand this and accept this and you're okay with this and you're going to abide by this. Because what we don't want is for somebody to invest more money than they're able to lose. And
or do it in a way where they're not
they'll do it anyway
of what they're doing. Yeah. Well, I just want you to know that the whole point of it is you work the system first. And then once you feel comfortable, then switch on the real money. I don't want you to walk into the system and only understand a part of it, but feel rushed in order to put money in, because that's not necessary. That's too risky. I don't like that risk. I don't like it for me. I don't like it for my family. I don't like it for you. So that's part of the user agreement. Anyway, you'll see all that when you sign up, the plan.vip/join. By the way, I want to show you real quickly again here from the demo bots that we were showing you earlier that have ran through this conditions. I took a screenshot of it, but we can actually show it live here. I got it live going on right now. Somebody asked me, because these are all funded with $1,500, because that's the minimum requirement to run these bots. That doesn't mean you can only put $1,500 in an automation. So what's really interesting is, here's an automation, 11 days, it's made $141. If it was live, it would have made $141 of real money on a $1,500. Now, if you were to put 15,000 in this automation, it would have spit out $1,400, because 10 times the amount of money in, obviously 10 times the amount of bot profit. The bot profit return is always the same, about 3% on this one bot automation in 11 days. Pretty good, right? 3% in 11 days. Who wouldn't want that on their money? I would love that on my money. Now, obviously, it's 141 on $1,500. But if you would have put 3,000 in on this automation, this number would have been double. So you can put whatever you want in each and every automation above 1,500. 1,500 is just the minimum that you would want to run these automations with based on Dan's formula. Remember earlier he said it's like a spider web? Well, if you have less than 1,500, there's too many holes in your spider web, and all the flies are flying right through it, and you're not capturing it. And so that is also a safety mechanism. It's a precaution. It's a conservative approach. Certainly, you can put more than that. And by the way, what's great is whether you put 15,000 in, or 1,500 in, or 5,000 in, or 3,000 in. Once you cross the $1,500 threshold, it doesn't make the bot automations work any better. It's kind of below 1,500. Who knows? 1,500 and above, the system works exactly the same. The percentages are the same. Now, obviously, the raw number of dollars is different based on, obviously, the more you put in, the more you get out. But I want you to focus on this number. The bots have returned in this demo account 20%. Now, some of these bots have been running for 4 months, as you can see here. And some of these bots have been running for 3 months, as you can see here. Some for 2.5 months, some for a month, one for 11 days here. So if we could just call this an average of 3 months, basically, let's just say the money on average has been 3 months, 20% return on 3 months from the bots alone. I don't know about you. That makes me excited. I'm a multimillionaire many times over. 20% in 3 months on my money makes me extremely excited. Now, it just so happened that overall, the market has recovered a little bit from its low point 3 or 4 months ago, or at least from these automations that were selected here. So it's also 6% up in terms of the value, as you can see from these coins and everything. The sum total profit and loss if we were to close everything else up, right? So this is the combination of the bots and each individual coin as it is here, right? But we are interested in what our renters are paying us in terms of rent. This is the value property over here. So hopefully, so coins will go up and coins will go down in value, but the wiggling of going up and down. The bot is always saying, I'm buying a little bit and I'm selling it as soon as it goes up a little bit. I'm buying a small chunk, and as soon as it goes up a tiny bit, I'm selling it. So the bots are making money. So this is your renter paying you rent, while the value of your property itself may go up or down. So only this matters when you sell it. This is what's already being fed into your exchange. Dan calls it couch cushion money, right? So you're reaching into the couch and you're pulling it out, and that's yours to keep. You do whatever you want with it. So I like the 6% in 3 months. And you say, Jason, is this handpicked? Nope. We're showing you every single demo bot, to the best of my knowledge, that I know that's been run, that's still live today. And we wanted to do it under these exact market conditions, because I'll tell you what drives me nuts. I have people I know who know me very well over the last year. And last year, when we launched the plan and we published it, because that was the first time we rolled it out, was May of last year on a beta mode, before there was a fancy members area, before support was up to 50 people, before we had, totally designed it and ironed it all out for everybody and anybody. We launched it back in May in beta mode, and it did really well. And it kept doing well, kept doing extremely well last year. So this year I run into people when I go to events and I go to trade shows and all those things, and say, Jason, what are you now doing? I know you did the plan last year. What are you doing now? I'm like, I'm still doing the plan. They're like, yeah, but it doesn't work now, does it? I'm like, why wouldn't it work? Do you think I was selling something that would only work when everybody was making money in crypto? No, of course not. That would be silly. Why would I build the reputation of my company, which I've had to do over my blood, sweat, and tears of the last dozen years, and Will is the same, right? Why would we do something that would only work in a very narrow window of opportunity, when anything and everything work, when throwing a dart at the wall would work? Why would we do that? And it's funny, though, because in their mind, they believe, for whatever reason, that that these things only work when crypto goes up. What a terrible system that would be, to only work when something goes up, because something goes up sometimes, but it goes down some other times, and some other times it stays the same. So I'm showing you right now, based on those demo bots, what was working during the worst crypto recession in recent history. All right, fair enough. It was designed to withstand that weather. It was designed for these times, because it was obvious that these times, what comes after fall? Winter. But what comes after winter? Spring, and then summer. Just like it's obvious that the seasons cycle through. It's obvious that sometimes crypto is going to be sky high and sometimes it's going to be in the gutter. For now. Okay? Don't you think that any emergent technology that was revolutionary, don't you think it went through this stage of puberty where it was discovering itself, where it was learning how to drive and it needed a learner's permit before it finally grew up and became the man and the woman it is today? Every single disruptive technology has had to go through that stage. Why would crypto be any different? But the thing is so many people on all of these times, the first hot weather chases them away. No wonder they stay small. No wonder they stay stuck in the financial position that they're in, because they can't stand a little heat or a little cool or a little cold. Now, we try to minimize all that as much as we possibly can, but you got to take some sort of chance to change your situation. And so this is the horse that we're backing. This is who we're taking to prom with this. And I think it makes sense for you too, if you understand everything that we've said thus far. If you haven't understand what we've said this far, here we are, opening up to you with the questions coming in, doing our best to answer it. Now, there's a lot of you and there's only a few of us, so hang in there. If we don't get it right away, we'll get to it. But the plan.vip/join, it's there. Remember, you get 3 months of coin pair research. So not only are we teaching you how to fish, the first 3 months, you also get the fish given to you, the literal exact settings that you can plug into demo mode and you can see for yourself. It's a whole thing where it's kind of like when you're taking a test, there's the answer key in the back. Check your work, copy and paste it in, go to the races. And we want you to fish and be given the fish as well. So you get 3 months of that for free. If you want to continue on after that, you'll have to seek us out to pay us to continue. And that's $300 a month after that. So it's a literal $900 value for free for you. So not only do you get taught the system, you're given literally the research done for you from the system itself from the experts. The plan.vip/join. Will, what other questions?
And the CoinPair Research service that you're going to get 3 months access to for free is the research is done in the same exact way that you learn to do it. There's no like additional expertise required on our side. It's just something that is there for convenience for you. But more than that, while you're learning the system, the way I suggest you use the CoinPair Research service is you use it as a learning tool. Look at the CoinPair that is being that's been published in CoinPair Research, but don't look at any of the settings. Go do the research on your own, come up with your own settings, then compare the two, because what you're going to see is if you learn the system, you're going to be very close to what was in the CoinPair Research. If it's completely off, then you got some more learning to do. And this is going to give you the confidence that you will need to know that you fully learned the system. That's really, really important. And there are folks that are going to use CoinPair Research, and many do, just to copy and paste settings. That's fine. But remember, you do that in demo mode anyway, just to make sure that you're testing all this stuff and learning the system.
Yeah, we just give you the picks, so you do whatever you want with them. Obviously, you do your own research to validate them in and of themselves. But there's really only 5 things you need to put in to start a bot. And you just copy and paste those in, you push go, and you see what happens.
Yeah, Karina asks, what kinds of things do you do on a daily basis? And Karina,
Great question.
and how much time it takes. And it really doesn't take a whole lot of time. When I first started, I literally would check my phone, check the web browser on my phone, because it's really easy to check on your phone, the stats. I would check it because I was so curious and so excited about those wiggle profits. I will tell you that I have not looked at my account in weeks because I'm running a specific kind of bot called a HODL bot, or actually multiple HODL bots. And I go in there and look every few weeks. I don't even look at it because it doesn't matter with that kind of bot. It's a very long-term focused bot anyway. But it's like however long it takes to refresh the page on your phone and look at the stats. And then if you do need to do something, which is a very rare circumstance based upon what you learn in the plan, you should let it sit. You should never react to things. Oh my God, the value went down. Oh, should get out. That's probably the wrong thing to do. You should just allow the bot time and the crypto coin that you're investing in, allow it time to wiggle. But literally a few minutes a day, and you don't even have to check it daily. Although I'd recommend taking a look at it daily, like a minute or 2 a day at the most, Karina, is what you need. Unless you need to do something, and then maybe you need to spend 5 or 10 minutes doing something. Somebody asked, and I apologize, I don't know the name of who asked. When you start a bot for $1,500, do you wait until you have enough in profits to start another $1,500 bot? If you have additional capital that you decide to invest right away, you can start more than one bot at the same time. If you only have enough to start one bot and you want to utilize the profits to start another bot, then yes, absolutely. You could take the profits and start another bot with those profits. Or you can take those profits and what was it that somebody asked? Buy a chicken sandwich with it, right?
Yeah, here's the final analysis, right? There's 3 things you can do. You can take the money from the bot, so it's a $1,500 minimum to set up an automation. And you could say, listen, I'm only going to start a second automation with 100% of my profits from my first bot. That's an option. You can do that if you want to. So you're playing with house money from day one. You say, once I make my $1,500 back, I'm going to reinvest it. That's option 1. Option number 2 is I'm going to make my first $1,500 back pay myself. And then the next $1,500 I'll use to start a second bot. You can do that as well. So you can take all your profits off the table. You can invest all of your profits into another bot, or you can do a combination of the two. And the way I approached it at first, and you can do it however you want to do it, this is just my experience, is I would say $1 for me, $1 for the market, $1 for me, $1 for the market. So if my automation made $500 for the month, I would take $250 and put it in my pocket and then I'd take the other 250 and put it back into the market, meaning that, I would use the profits, half the profits I would use to fund more bots, and half the profits I would take off the table. But that's me. You can do it however you want to do it. Now, keep in mind, when I started with like 5 or 6 automations, not one, because I'm well capitalized. And so I had a lot of activity running for me. So the automations were producing a lot of cash flow. So I could split it up a lot easier, 50-50. If you're starting with one automation, you'll have to decide, do I want to try to compound it? Turn 1 into 2, 2 into 3, 3 into 5. But that's your choice. It doesn't really matter. What matters is this. What is your money doing for you right now? What's it doing for you? 95% of people, what their money is doing for them right now is losing value by sitting there, because the inflation rate is a little bit crazy right now. And so their money is losing its power by the day. So what is your money doing for you? Well, if you're putting it in the traditional models, we've seen how that's worked traditionally, is what's it doing for you? It's not doing much for you. So you got to have your money do something for you. So I think some of your money, not all of it, of course, some of your money should be doing something for you in the crypto space. And I think it should be doing it for you the way that the plan does it for you. And that's what really matters. And then, how much of that you're going to pull back out and put in your pocket, how much of that you're going to reinvest. You can figure that out as you go along. And Dan also has nice rule sets for that too. We haven't talked about that today, but Dan gives you a whole philosophy on allocation that he personally follows. And he gives you his rules as well. And they're very conservative. We're not risk takers here. I know that sounds funny, right? We're not risk takers. We are very, very conservative. And I think that's why we have such an impact on the market, because typically people in crypto, they're crazy. They're insane for the most part. They're just like, I'm going to take a massive risk. If it pays off, I'm rich. If not, I'm going to be a fry cook at McDonald's, right? I don't want to do that, and I don't want my customers to do that. I want them to take advantage of something in the most risk-free way that's possible out there. Now, is there risk involved? Yes, there is. There's risk involved in everything. You could lose your job tomorrow that you worked the last 20 years for, just because some analysts decided that you're a cost center now and they cut you out. There's risk in everything, right? So we try to do the best we can with the information available and the insights that we have. And if we can leverage other people's risk, i.e. Dan working his tail off the last 4+ years figuring these automations out, then that might make sense. The plan.vip/join. That's where you go to get started with us. Last time we're open for 2022. Do we have a date available for the next opening in 2023? We do not. Historically, it's been a 5 to 6 month cycle between launches. We don't know what it's going to be. If it's going to be 5 or 6 months next year, halfway through 2023, or not. You got to understand this. We don't spend our time out there chasing down customers trying to get new people to join the plan. A majority of the time that we spend is on supporting and servicing our existing clientele. Occasionally we take on new customers, but a majority of the time is spent creating amazing experiences for existing customers, because we know where our bread is buttered. So we're opening this up for a limited time now, but most of the time we focus on our constituents, and we want you to be one of those. The plan.vip/join.
Awesome stuff. Somebody asked, what's the advantage of running more than one bot versus just putting more money in the existing bot? Diversification. Dan will talk about this. Diversification is key to any type of investment. If you put money in just one bot, while that bot may be doing really well today, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow to the value of that coin pair. And again, the bot cannot lose money in its trades, but you can lose value in a coin pair. And you saw when Jason showed the demo bots that we've been running for a while now, some of them were red in the value and some of them were green. Dan teaches the allocation strategy, like Jason said, in the plan, so you will fully understand this. And by the way, not all your crypto investment, if you follow the plan, is going to go into bots. Bots are one part of it. And he will talk about other strategies and where else you should place your money if you're going to follow the plan. The plan isn't about bots. Bots are just one facet of the plan. It is where he teaches you to start with crypto, but your crypto journey is going to very likely continue. And if you do decide to continue your crypto journey with the plan, there will be other courses you might be able to sign up for in the future. He's going to teach you the basics of crypto in the plan phase 1, and he is going to teach you about bots and a couple of other things. But your crypto journey probably won't end there. This is a start, which is great, and it's a great start for you. When your bot is making money, it does not suck up your profits in the bot and reinvest them automatically. In fact, you cannot add money to a bot. You would have to stop that bot and start a new bot with more money if you wanted to. And we like that concept because when it spits out profits, you can do whatever you want right away with those profits. Every time the bot sells a little bit of the crypto that it bought, it's going to sell at a profit, and that profit is going to be immediately available in your exchange, which you can decide to withdraw if you want. You can decide to trade for other crypto. You can decide to reinvest it by setting up another bot. You can send it to a savings vault that Dan will cover in the training. You can do a myriad of things, but the important part to remember is that whenever the bot makes a sell trade, it's always at a profit, which means that profit is available to you immediately. Now, the value of the coin that you're trading may go down, but that is apart from the profit. You got to remember, a good way to think about it is when you buy a rental property and you rent it out, you get rent, and the rent stays the same. You keep getting paid rent regardless of whether the value of the real estate goes up or down. That does not affect the rent that you get paid. So you continue getting paid while there's volatility, and it's within that range that you've set, even if the value goes down. Now, if you decide to close the bot, there are ways to close the bot and not sell the crypto. But if you decide to close and terminate everything because the value is down, at that point you will have lost some of your investment. But here's the interesting thing. Let's say you buy a particular cryptocurrency today, and let's say it costs $100 to buy. You spend $100 to buy cryptocurrency, some type of cryptocurrency. And let's say the value goes down to $50 and you need to sell it. You have literally just lost $50 because you bought for 100 and you are selling for 50. Okay? Now, let's say that money was in a bot and you captured about $20 in wiggle profit between the time that it went from 100 to 50. And you still decide to terminate that money. So you've captured $20 in wiggle profit and the value went from 100 to 50. How much money have you lost? Type in the chat box for me. If you terminated that bot and sold all the crypto at that point, how much money have you lost? No, you haven't lost it all, Doug. Most people are getting it. You've only lost 30. So the value went down by 50%, but you've only lost 30%. Isn't that amazing? That is like the best hedge I've ever heard of. Imagine you buy a stock for $100 and it goes down to 50 and you sell it. You can't make wiggle profits in your 401k or in your stock portfolio. You can't make wiggle profits. Maybe if the company pays some dividends, but are those dividends usually anything close to what you've seen today as examples? So even if you lose money, the bot ensures that you lose less money. But now remember, even if it went from 100 to 50, you haven't lost any money unless you sell. Do you have to sell or can you hold? That's a decision that's up to you. Traditionally, if you look at the charts, it goes down and goes up, goes down and goes up, goes down and goes up. Look at the Bitcoin. Oh my God, it's like crazy fluctuating right now. And it's pretty low. It's been at 60. Last time I looked yesterday, it was like 20 something. Is it going to go back to 60? Nobody knows, but I'm pretty confident it will. So if you're willing to hold, you will not lose any money if it goes back up. Now, is it possible that it never goes back up? Of course, and this is why we're telling you there's always a possibility. But isn't it awesome that while everybody will have, in my example, everybody who's just buying and holding or hodling will have lost 50% and you will only have lost 30. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that incredible? Right? So we love the wiggle. We love the volatility because it's in the volatility that the bots make money. And remember, you're going to do all this in demo mode. You're not going to risk anything. And I strongly encourage you to not invest any real money until you're very comfortable with this. There's no need to rush. Here's the thing. When you do demo bots and you start seeing those results, you start seeing that bot profit, even though it's fake money, you're going to say, oh, I just lost the opportunity to make all that money. Let's say you have a bot that you set up that does like 20% in a week, and you'll be like, oh, I lost 20%. That will never come back. That's not true. There is no lost opportunity when it comes to this stuff because the opportunity, the wiggle will always be there. There's one thing that can be pretty much guaranteed, and that is that there will be volatility. There will always be volatility as it's my opinion, and I think it's a pretty safe bet that there will always be volatility. How much volatility? We don't know. Is it going to trend up or trend down? We don't know. But we know that there will be volatility. There has always been, so it's probably very likely that there will always be volatility. And if we can capture the profits in that volatility, that's awesome. So don't feel like when you're running your demo bots that you're missing an opportunity. What you're doing is you're taking your time and learning because the volatility that's there today will be there next week, will be there next month, and so forth. So take your time, take your time. Run demo bots. Learn the system. Learn the system. Okay. How much will you invest in learning how much time will it take to learn the plan? You will be running your first, Dan likes to teach some foundational stuff first, and none of it is very technical or any of that, so you don't have to worry about being technical and there a lot of mumbo jumbo. Dan does a great job explaining in very simple terms and terminology, and it's all point and click kind of stuff with the demonstrations. You will be running your first bot after about 3 hours of training. Now, you can do the training at your own pace. So the training is all pre-recorded in the members area. You can go at your own pace. So many of you will start your demo bot like the same day that you get access to the members area, which I've already covered when that will be, right? There's a delay between sending you the NDA, you signing it, us checking it, and then you getting access to the members area. But many of you will be running your first demo bot the first day you get access to the member area if you can put 2 or 3 hours of time. You don't have to put 2 or 3 hours of time right away. You can spread that across however many days you want. But you will learn the system in about 15 to 20 hours in total. In about 15 or 20 hours in total, and it can be spread across however much time you want. So if you only have half an hour a day, that's fine. Spend half an hour a day. If you have an hour a day, great. You will learn the basics of the system in like less than 6 hours. And then you will keep learning more and more and more and more. But you'll be running your first bot in demo mode in like 2 to 3 hours. All right. Yes, Judith, congratulations on joining. We're just going to stay here and ask and answer questions to help folks here make the decision of whether this is the right opportunity for them or not.
We got some money to give away still too, Will.
Oh, let's do that right now.
Yeah, I figured that'd be a good time,
Let's do that right now. Thank you for the reminder. So we have two more $500 prizes. And go ahead and what's the question that they're going to answer right now, Jason?
Ooh, that's a good question.
And while Jason thinks of a question, remember, in order to participate, your entry is answering a question that Jason is going to ask. You don't have to even give the right answer. There's no right or wrong answer. There may be a right or wrong answer, but it doesn't disqualify you if you answer wrong. But you do
Yep.
have to answer it in the chat box. So if you're on the phone or whatever watching this, make sure you know how to type it in the chat box. This was explained prior to you registering to the webinar. And make sure that you do not answer more than once. If you answer more than once, you disqualify yourself because it's not fair to other people. So
Yep.
everybody gets one entry, okay? So what's the question, Jason?
So what's the minimum that you need to fund a bot to create an automation? How much do you need to put in to the coin pair to start your first automation, or any automation for that matter?
Jason, the answer started coming in so fast after you asked. I don't think you had finished saying the word minimum
They
before
anticipated it, right?
but the
Yeah.
answer started coming. I think a lot of people guessed what you were going to ask,
Oh,
man.
that's funny. Yeah.
The only possible explanation, because
They
literally
were
you said
ready.
minimum and I saw it start scrolling. That's
Yeah, well, I mean, well,
awesome.
geez, if you're that on the ball, then following the plan is going to be a piece of cake, right?
It's not hard to follow the plan. The
That's
one
not.
thing that you need to do is truly follow it. Truly take stock of what Dan says and pay attention to the things he says. If when he shares with you the allocation of funds, because he's not going to tell you put 100% of your crypto investment in bots. He's going to tell you exactly how to allocate your funds according to his idea of best practice from what he knows, right? You're going to do whatever you want. But I suggest you pay attention to it. And if it makes sense to you, follow what he says. He's going to tell you to run stuff in demo mode. If he tells you to run in demo mode, which is all he tells you to do, run it in demo mode. Don't rush to go invest real money on this. There's no rush. Crypto will be here next week and next month and next year. The one thing that I believe is pretty safe to say, Jason, is that crypto's here to stay. It's not a fad. If you asked you and I about 6 or 7 years ago, maybe I would have said, "Yeah, it's a fad. It's gonna like whatever." We don't know what the adoption is going to be. Today, it's pretty mainstream. There are countries who have made Bitcoin, which is just one of the many digital currencies. They have made a legal tender in the country, which is,
Yep.
that says a lot.
Yeah, governments
Okay,
are
Jason,
filing
I'm ready. I'm
patents.
ready to pick some
All
names.
right,
So
so start
I'm
scrolling.
scrolling. Oh my God, there are so many people
I
here
know, I love
still.
it.
I'm scrolling up and down. I'm gonna look away. You tell me when to stop scrolling.
All right, go ahead and stop.
Okay. Muskan Shah. Muskan Shah. I need you, Mushkan or Muskan, to please type in the chat box. Just Muskan Shah, nobody else. Type in the chat box your email address and your phone number where we can reach you to give you the prize. And I'm going to get back to Zoom over here. And
Yeah,
I'm
we're gonna do one
scrolling
more
again, Jason, for the fifth $500 prize.
and stop.
Less White. Less White. So Less White, if you would please go ahead and type your email address and your phone number in the chat. And then we'll verify that we have your information, and then we're good to go. And I don't know, Jason, most people got it right. I see some people said $500. I don't know. Some people said 3,000. Used to be
Used to be
$3,000.
3,000.
But
Yeah, now it's only
because
50.
of the market conditions, there's a different type of bot that Dan introduced to our members a few months ago. It's called the bottom feeder bot
Yep.
that has been specifically designed, the strategy is specifically designed for when the market is low as it is right now. When Bitcoin hits the 50s or 60s or 70s, whatever many thousands it's going to be worth again, the entire market kind of goes up and down with Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes down significantly, the entire market drags. If Bitcoin goes up significantly, the entire market goes up as a general rule of thumb. When Bitcoin is up in the 50s and 60s and 70,000s or whatever it's going to hit next, the bottom feeder bot will no longer be a good strategy. So then you will follow the traditional bot strategies that Dan teaches in the course. All right.
Yeah, that was gonna be my question if I would have done it over again instead of the minimum. What was the name of the bot, right? The bottom feeder bot. We're feeding off the bottom of the market right now. There's always opportunity. It's just crazy how much opportunity there always is. You just need a plan. And we have the plan.vip/join. I do want to make a clear point here, Will, because I saw a little bit of this in this chit chat. The automations in and of themselves are nothing remarkable. Anybody could take any software, and this software that we recommend is one of many different softwares that can run automations for crypto. Most people who run automations lose money, just like most people who buy crypto lose money. The automation is necessary, but it's not sufficient in and of itself. Just like anybody can take ingredients and throw them into a bowl and say, here's dinner, right? It takes a precise amount of combination of certain ingredients cooked in a certain way to deliver a good meal. And so Dan has the recipe, if you will. He has the approach. The automations just allow you to do something more effectively than any human can do it. It allows you to do it 24/7, 365, and it allows you to take advantage of something. But the precise setup of the automation, that's where the difference is made. That's what makes the most difference. And so if you go out there and some people say, oh, the plan is stupid, you shouldn't pay $3,500. I'll show you how to set up automations for free. Well, yeah, fantastic. Let's show you how to set up automations that have no historical soundness behind them, that haven't had the rigorousness of being tested in 130 plus countries. They'll show you something. They won't have 50 people supporting it. They won't put their reputation on the line. So yeah, this isn't the way. This isn't a course on how to run automations. You could find that for free on YouTube. That's really easy. This is specific setups of automations based on a specific process that Dan shows. So I want to make that clear.
In fact, Jason, sometimes folks have written in and said, wait, I found all the videos on YouTube about the software vendor. The software vendor teaches how to do that.
Yeah.
And oh boy, they teach you the mechanics. They don't teach you the strategy. Yep. The mechanics are easy, like the how-to, what buttons to click to start a bot. That's easy. But knowing how to configure the bot, the settings that have been tested and tried by Dan with thousands of automations and many, many, many thousands of automations by our members, that is not taught for free. How to use the software to start a bot? That's easy. It's irrelevant, though.
Yeah, and it's nobody else.
To use Dan's example of Stephen King and writing a novel in Microsoft Word, right? Yeah. You can go to YouTube all day long and find out how to create bold text and headlines and how to grammar check in Word and do all that stuff in Word. That doesn't make you a successful writer, though.
Nope, not even close. And so I would rather you not do this at all if you don't have a plan. Just because you can run an automation. Again, most people who run automations lose money. It's the way you run the automation that matters. So I would much rather you sit on the sidelines if you don't have a plan. And I'll tell you, how many people do you think have a plan in crypto? And the answer is almost nobody. So is it shocking then that most people lose money in crypto? And the answer is, of course not. And up until we met Dan, Will and I didn't have a plan. So even though we saw the headlines and saw the possibility of crypto, we stayed away from it until we had some sort of edge, some sort of advantage above and beyond what the traditional person playing the game had. We weren't going to play it. And I wouldn't want you to play it unless you had a built-in advantage. This is why the house always wins, because they have a built-in advantage. I want you to be the house. And we do our best to try to help you with that based upon the education and information that is provided to you. A more informed person is going to make better decisions. But the challenge of being informed is being informed with what? Because there's a million different things you could learn in crypto. How do we remove the signal from the noise? How do we separate the hay from the needles in the haystack? And I think we've done a really good job of that with the plan. And you'll see that when you join the plan.vip/join to get started. We've been going 3 hours here now, but I'm willing to keep hanging in there if you have any other pressing questions related to whether it makes sense for you to invest or not. The countdown timer on that page is not a gimmick. It is a real thing that when it hits 0, this thing goes away and it's gone for the rest of the year. 2022, it's closed. We're not doing another one of these big things. These big launches, they're exhausting. We do them because it is our mission to help people improve their financial situation. And we try to find the very best products out there to support and publish in order to accomplish that. And so that is our mission. This is what we do. But a majority of the time is spent, again, supporting and servicing existing clientele. It is not going out there and selling all the time. So this is your chance. When that thing hits 0, though, it's done. The plan.vip/join.
Okay.
The other thing to remember too. Yeah, go ahead.
If you have any questions that we haven't answered, there are still a whole lot of people here. So the questions go by really fast, and there are comments and people telling us how much they love the training and they're signing up. So go ahead and ask your question again if we missed it, and we're going to do our best to answer all the questions. Oh, Jason, I love this question. No, I don't, but we'll ask it anyway.
You like me answering the question, right?
I like you answering the question. I'd like you to explain why it's a question that is not a good question, not a good way to think anyway. So here he goes. What percentage of participants make significant money within 3 months?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question, actually. For all the wrong reasons or all the right reasons, it's the wrong question, or for all the wrong reasons, it's the right question. I don't know which yet. So the idea here is, if we're going to compare, first of all, I don't know the answer. I don't track the answer. There's no possible way I'd want to track the answer. I don't want to be in your business. We know we're successful based upon the satisfaction of our customers, and I can tell that very easily based on the support tickets and how we read them and the response of the people that coming in and the amount of people that refer other people into the program. Those are my measures of indication of success and failure, and that's what we look at it. But the other problem with averages, say, in a 3-month period of time, you have the wrong time horizon. Because what is Warren Buffett's favorite holding time? Does anybody know the answer to that? It's a one-word answer. It's forever. That's his favorite holding time. And so we don't want to be in it for a 3-month clip. That's short-term trading, and most people, they can't outsmart the market. A few people get lucky, and most people just lose their shirt. The second problem with that is the averages can be misleading. Because if you, me, and Bill Gates sat down and had a beer together, the average net worth of each individual at that table would be over $1 billion. And so that doesn't really do us any good either. Just like the average temperature in Iowa is 70 degrees Fahrenheit, but sometimes it can be over 100 degrees, and sometimes it can be under 20 degrees negative. I've been in the cold winters and I've been in the hot summers. And so the averages really don't tell you much. What you really want to know is this. If I had to guess what you really want to know from a question like that, what you want is some sort of degree of certainty that you're going to put in this amount of money, and in a short period of time, it's going to be a larger amount of that's going to come back to you. And I don't know the answer to that. All I can show you is all the demo bots that we've ran in the worst market conditions that we've seen recently, or perhaps ever in the crypto market. That's all we can go by. And the soundness of the approach that Dan laid out for you here today, that's all you can go by. If that makes sense, then it doesn't matter whether you make 5 or 6 or 7% next month, or 9 or 10 or 12% the following month, or 15 or 20% return in 3 or 4 months. None of that really matters. What matters is you now have a vehicle that can make money for you while you do nothing. And it will be different for you than it will be for me. It'll be different because you'll pick slightly different coin setups than I'll pick, and you'll enter and exit at certain different times than I will. And that's just the nature of the game. But the reality of it is it goes back to that fundamental root of a question that I always ask myself, and I always ask you: what's your money doing for you right now? What's it doing for you? Don't you think some of it should be doing this? I think at least some of it should be doing this. I don't know any other better option. If I knew a better option, I would show it to you, and I would be following it. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean all of my money is in this. I do have money in traditional real estate, money in traditional stocks, and they just sit there. And when I'm 59 and a half, I still probably won't touch it, but then I could potentially touch it tax-free, maybe, if that thing exists still when I'm 59 and a half. I don't know, right? I do put it in a variety of different things, but most of the stuff that I put in doesn't have my money do for me what this does. And this is what I would like for you to consider as well. If that makes sense to you, then join the plan.vip/join. If it doesn't make sense to you, then I absolutely do not want you to join. And if you already have something that you feel better about, go ahead and do it. The other thing too is the risk involved. So it's easy to see what the return is, but it's hard to measure the risks avoided because that's a negative. It's not a positive. You can't see it. You don't know if I would have turned left instead of right, there was a dog on that block and it would have bit me, but I turned right and I've walked away blissfully unaware. So many of you right now with the current markets and the money which you are in on those markets, you are blissfully unaware of the perils that are in those markets. They are less transparent and they are more rigged because they've had centuries of people figuring out how to rig them, in my opinion. And this is fresh, it's new, it's different. It has opportunity for people at the beginning, not people that have just been here for 3 generations, who are names like Rockefellers and Vanderbilts, right? This has a fresh set of opportunities because it's a fresh process that's being out there. It's a fresh protocol. And, the downside of fresh is it's going to be bumpier, but the upside is you don't have to be a 3rd generation, come from money, have additional privileges that you're born with silver spoons in your mouths in order to take advantage of this. This is a different playing field that maybe you should be playing on some of the time. All right. The plan.vip/join to join us on this playing field.
Awesome. Are there any other questions? I'm going to scroll down a little bit. A lot of people saying thank you, and I appreciate you being here. That's awesome. I'm glad we were able to share this with you.
Yeah, that's one thing you can get used to from us is we hang in there. I think that's missing today in a lot of training programs that exist out there is we will go the extra mile as we've demonstrated here today. We will hang in there with you. If there's anything that needs to be clarified, we'll spend the extra time clarifying it, even if it's the same question. Some of these questions I've now answered and you now answered, Will, probably a couple thousand times, right? I'll answer them a couple thousand more times if I have to, because this is something that I believe in. And this is something that I sincerely wish to put out there into the world to reach as many people that it makes sense to follow this. And that's why we're going to spend the extra time if needed. Now, of course, if you already know the answer and if the answer is already yes, go ahead and sign up. You can still hang out here with us, but don't delay the inevitable in this situation. Make your decision and then move forward.
Jason, I think we're, believe it or not, running out of questions here. I think folks have understood is what I'm going to take this to mean because there don't seem to be any questions.
We certainly have gotten better at presenting it over time.
Yeah, if you have any payment issues, the payment is not working, try a different browser. We accept credit cards, we accept PayPal as payment. And if you have any other questions regarding payments or any issues with payments, support@rapidcrush.com. It is actually your first opportunity for many of you to interact with us at support, and you're going to see how amazing our support is, because we don't just talk about how amazing support is. We live it. So, and you're gonna see that firsthand if you write into support@rapidcrush.com. And if you forget that email address, you leave this webinar and you have a question and you forgot that email address, just go to the plan.vip/join right now. Keep that page up on your screen on your web browser. You will see a countdown timer on that page as to when this offer expires, but you will also see at the bottom of that page a link to support. Joe asks a question. I live in Hawaii who are not very friendly towards crypto. Because of that, I have difficulty signing up with exchanges. Do I have a solution? Joe, we have plenty of members in Hawaii doing this successfully. And one of the things about the plan is that companion guide I mentioned earlier that is going to be extremely helpful to you in choosing an exchange that is allowed in Hawaii. Let me tell you this, Joe, we have customers in 131 different countries who have signed up for the plan. If there's any way, shape, or form of you buying crypto wherever your location is, in whatever location you're in, there's a way for you to do this. And yes, Joe, we have a lot of people. I don't know if a lot, but we definitely have several members that I know for a fact are in Hawaii. Jason, you still there?
I am, my friend. Yeah.
Apart from the plan, if you don't join or don't have the profits to get the plan, what would you do as a person who's young and wanting to start something like this? Let's
Yeah.
inspire
So
a young person.
the most important thing to do is to invest in yourself. And that can be a variety of different ways. And it doesn't have to be just money. It usually is time and money. It's a combination of the two. So the beautiful thing about investing in the plan in and of itself, I think that's the highest first priority for you. Not only forget all the automations for a second, just the root foundational understanding of crypto. I'll tell you, most people that are investing in crypto, they might as well be investing in turnips because they have no idea the difference between turnips and crypto. They don't know the difference between the two. And so the foundational understanding and the way that it's been taught, a lot of people don't know this. Dan didn't mention this. Dan is a formal educator. He taught music at a university level. So he is a gifted teacher, independent of subject matter. And so Dan has done such an unbelievably good job of teaching a lot of the facets of crypto to give you the base level of understanding. So you're going to want to invest the time and the money from trusted sources to learn those things. The research that the team has done just on exchanges alone to demystify them and put it in plain language, not the language that's on the exchange's website, that is so invaluable. And so you're going to want to invest in yourself first. And one of the ways in which you can invest in yourself is through education and through training. And that's the plan. And then the rest of it, you can invest as it makes sense. So at some point in time, you're going to have to make an investment in the automation software. And that starts at, last I checked, $69 a month. So you don't have to do that right away. When it makes sense for you, you can do that. You're going to have to invest some of your capital into crypto. And so when it makes sense, do that. But those two other things come second to investing in yourself first, which is through the education inside of the plan. Most people don't do that. Most of you haven't done that. I know it for a fact. Tell me if I'm right. You've bought crypto first, and now you're trying to figure out what you buy. That's okay. I get it, right? You want to jump in and you want to get started, okay? You didn't have any other better option at the time. You didn't know the plan existed prior, probably. It's better to do it the other way. Know what you're buying first and then buy it. So if you've bought something, you now are going to better know what you bought, and then you can decide if you want to keep it or not. And then therefore, in the future, when you buy other things in crypto, now you'll have a good understanding of what you're buying. Whereas before, like most people, you didn't know. You heard it was something that was important, and then you bought it. And now all of a sudden you're feeling weird because nobody's talking about it anymore. So it doesn't seem important anymore. So you're like, uh-oh, what do I do? Well, good news, stay the course. But now learn what you bought. So investing in yourself, that's the most important thing. Nobody's going to save you. I hate to break it to you. No, don't expect to be saved. If you're saved, fantastic. Good for you, right? Maybe the afterlife is when we're all saved. But in this life, the government ain't going to save you. Your bank isn't going to save you. Your employer isn't going to save you. Society isn't going to save you. Your country isn't going to save you. Your state isn't going to save you. Your city isn't going to save you. An educational program from the government isn't going to save you, right? Nobody's going to come knocking on your door, checking on you to make sure you're okay, unfortunately. The normal institutions are not designed to save you. No, I'm not going to save you. Nobody's going to come along and save you. You got to save yourself. And the way you save yourself is investing in ways in which you can improve who you are as an individual. And that extends far beyond what we have here today, because finances are only one part of your life. But it's kind of like oxygen. If you don't have oxygen, you really don't have anything else. So I've always discovered that if you take care of the finances first, that makes a lot of the other stuff, gives you capacity to take care of it. It's like oxygen. If you don't have it, you really want some of it. So this is what we talk about when we make investments. This is why Will and I publish educational programs. We don't publish funds. We don't say, give us your money and we'll invest it for you. We've never done that. We never will do that, right? We believe in the power of the right information and education. That's what we think matters more than anything else. And so we make it our mission. We go into every outhouse and every penthouse. We look under every rock and every pebble, trying to find the very best information on a subject that we can put in front of the very best audience that is suited for that information. That is our mission in life. And so this is what we provide here for you today when it comes to crypto. In our opinion, this is where it's at. The plan.vip/join is where you go to get involved.
James Bice has a great question about the bot running out of the ability to buy or sell. There's a range, James, that you will set. And if the price goes above or below the range, then the bot can stop. There are things that can be done when it goes above the range, and Dan teaches that in the training. It's a little bit too difficult to answer that without you having some basic knowledge. Just know that it gets taken care of automatically, and Dan will cover that in the training. There's no short selling. There is no what do you call it? There's no leveraging going on. There's no margin kind of stuff that you're doing. This is buy a little bit and sell for a little bit more. Buy a little bit and sell for a little bit more. It's really quite simple. The beauty of when you get into it, the beauty of the system is in the simplicity. Oftentimes we want things to be difficult, and we value things that are difficult. But the true value sometimes is in the simplicity of the solution. And that's what you're going to get here. Dan has simplified this entire process to where in a few hours he can teach you the entire system. And the reason it takes a few hours is really because he loves to explain things in great detail, as you saw in the webinar earlier today. He could explain things a lot faster. He explained the entire system to Jason and I in about 2 hours, and we just got it. But we have experience with this kind of stuff, so we got it. And he wasn't concerned about making sure he took us by the hand, step by step by step by step by step. For customers, he wants to make sure he takes everybody by the hand, step by step by step by step. So that's why it even takes as long as it does, because the system is really simple. Jason, I think we're done with questions. We've been here for 3 hours and 15 minutes almost. And if you have any additional parting words, the floor is yours, my friend. I will say thank you for being here. We will send out this recording sometime tomorrow, so just watch your inbox if you'd like to see it again. In the meantime, the plan.vip/join, and keep that page open in your browser, even if you're not quite ready to sign up today for whatever reason. Keep that page open in your browser so that you have it right then and there when you make your decision.
Awesome. I look forward to seeing all of you inside of the plan.vip/join, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.